the maximum level expert. She thrives in interstellar riches. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 776, Zio Kingai's Resentment 1. When Jiu heard Zio ask this, she crossed her arms and looked at him and said, "What? Don't you trust me as your partner?" She didn't want to say so much, but Luo Zhengan kept provoking her, so don't blame her for being harsh. Besides, Luo Zhengan was the one with the bigger problem. Even if Stephanie didn't remind him before entering the box, she wouldn't be humiliated by a stranger. And she took the time to go upstairs to say hello, but she didn't expect to hear Luo Zhengan belittling her crazily. Others scolded her, so of course she had to scold back to feel comfortable. "I don't mean to disbelieve you, I'm just curious about what you said," Zio explained quickly. "It means that his eyebrows are thick and messy, his ears are turned outward, and even if he makes money, he will go bankrupt." He definitely didn't mean to protect Luo Zhengan. After all, he had decided to cut off contact with him. In addition, Luo Zhengan was indeed wrong about what happened today. Even if they didn't break up, he would force him to apologize to Wen Jiu. He was just curious about what Wen Jiu said. It sounded like an ancient face reading technique, but he didn't know if his judgment was accurate. Hearing this, Wen Jiu raised his chin with a little pride. Yes, he doesn't look like a good person at first glance. If you believe me, you should avoid him. As the saying goes, if you keep company with someone who has done too many evil things, you will easily get a bit of bad luck. Otherwise, why is there a saying that a blessed person brings good luck to his family and friends? She kindly reminded him, because of Zizou's good character and the fact that he did not favor Luo Zhengan. If it was someone else, she would have no problem beating two people with one broom. Then what do you know? Why don't you tell me? Zizou and Zikingai are really brothers, and they both like to inquire about gossip. He only knew a little about Luo Zhengan's work outside, and he didn't ask much about many things that he didn't mention. And now when Jiu's know-it-all expression really aroused his curiosity to get some gossip. However, the other party began to look for ingredients and asked him back with a little pride, "Do you have to tell me if you want to know? Oh, don't keep me in suspense. I'm really curious." Zizou couldn't help but increase his tone anxiously. "Luo Zhengan was beaten by your friends, and I helped clean up the mess." Hearing this, Wen Jiu couldn't help but turn his head with a puzzled look. Who beat Luo Zhengan? Seeing that Wen Jiu really knew nothing, he told him what happened before he returned to Jiao. After the words fell, the other party shook his head inexplicably. Nini shouldn't have hurt him. When he heard this, he thought Wen Jiu was going to stand up for Luo Zhengan, but he never expected that the other party would say the next second, Nini should just find a place to bury him so that he won't come to cause trouble after he comes to his senses. Boss Wen, this is not possible. Zizou felt cold sweat on his forehead. Although Luo Zhengan and I have broken up because of our differences, his behavior has not reached that level. Besides, we are now in a society ruled by law. I don't want to send you to jail on your real star. You are the chief pharmacist of AOS Pharmaceuticals and the boss of Jiao, which will be famous in the Interstellar in the future. It is not worth sacrificing your bright future for a bad guy. After he finished speaking, Wen Jiu couldn't help but chuckle. "I was just joking. Why are you so nervous?" He saw that the other party was smiling, so he breathed a sigh of relief and continued to ask questions. "It's nothing special. I just know a little bit about face reading. I thought Zikingai had told you about it a long time ago, but I didn't expect that he didn't tell you anything at all." When Jiu saw that Zizou was so enthusiastic about gossip, so he told him what he saw. In simple terms, Luo Zhengan was born without money, and he did a lot of things to oppress others, which made his already not so good fortune even worse, so bankruptcy was inevitable. Moreover, Luo Zhengan was probably stained with blood, and the gloomy aura could make her notice it, even if she didn't want to pay attention to it. Therefore, based on the entanglement of the yin aura, she could conclude that the other party was not a good person, and he was the kind of person who did a lot of evil things. A wicked person like Eluo Zengan who did many evil things was unlucky for himself and would affect others. That's why she advised Ziziu to break up with him, so as not to be infected with bad luck in the future if he stayed with him for a long time. After he finished speaking, Wen Jiu picked up a box of fresh peaches. Do you have any more questions? If not, I'll leave. There are a lot of customers waiting outside. Not for now. Ziziu felt that his concept had been greatly impacted. Boss Wen, please call my brother in. I have a few questions that I need him to answer. People who do business are naturally more superstitious than ordinary people. So it's not that he has never been exposed to the so-called face reading art. He was just shocked why Wen Jiu even knew this. After the other party agreed to his request, he left the warehouse with peaches. In less than a minute, Zikingayu pushed open the door and came in. As soon as he entered the door, he saw Ziziu sitting in a daze, and the other party's expression looked as if he was deeply hurt by Wen Jiu. Seeing this, he couldn't help but gloat and say, "Bossy, what's wrong with you? Have you been scolded by my sister Jiu? That's not the case. I'm not as stupid as you." Ziziu returned to normal in just a second. "I just want to ask you, the house you live in is paid for by me. Why didn't you tell me that Wen Jiu can tell fortunes?" This made him confused, and he hesitated for a long time before speaking. "I didn't know that Sister Jiu could tell fortunes." He really didn't know that Wen Jiu could tell fortunes. He only knew that she could draw spells. Hearing this, Ziziu couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. "You hang out with Wen Jiu every day. Don't you know that she can tell fortunes?" In fact, Zikingayu can't be blamed for this, because Wen Jiu has never shown his fortune-telling skills in reality, and the other party can only draw a few spells at most. If you really want to talk about it, before this, only Kaioshishi knew that Wen Jiu could tell fortunes in the real world. The two brothers looked at each other. One fell into a state of confusion, and the other remained skeptical. It was not until Hukiki pushed the door open that the silence of the warehouse was broken. "My master asked me to come over and ask, how is Eluo Zengan now? Has he complained to the federal police?" Hearing this, Ziziu shook his head slowly. "I arranged for someone to send him to the mall lounge. He should still be receiving emergency medical treatment. Today's first update has been successfully delivered. Please check it out. Little Angels. 030. Whisper. Purely fictional. Please don't take it seriously." Chapter 777. Zio Kingayu's Resentment 2. Come on. Take a few deep breaths to keep yourself calm. Oh master. There are too many people watching. I'm so shy." Hearing this, Wen Jiu turned her head and looked at the people who came to join in the fun. "Can't you guys go outside first? I just want to teach Hukiki some skills, not some acrobatics, okay?" She mainly heard Ziziu say that Eluo Zengan was detained, and then she thought about the resentment she had sensed in the latter before, and this was just right for Hukiki to practice. As the saying goes, make the best use of everything and everyone. Although Eluo Zengan didn't have much talent, the resentment in him was desirable. So she asked Ziziu to keep him until Teoiao closed, so that she could take Hukiki to practice absorbing and refining the resentment. Who knew that after hearing about this, everyone came to the lounge to watch. "Chioji, we haven't seen each other before, so we just want to broaden our horizons with you." Zikingayu is always the first one to come forward, and he immediately expressed everyone's thoughts. Then, Kaioshishi smiled shyly and said, "That's right, we are mainly curious. Zio you can't favor Hukiki." Stephanie pouted aggrievedly. "We also did a lot of work today after the voice fell." Chuchayan followed with his arms crossed. "I agree with this. I have attracted so many customers for you, but I haven't seen you teach me any skills." Wen Jiu really couldn't understand it. She was just giving a class. Why did her friends think that she favored Hukiki? So she explained seriously that she just hoped that Hukiki would find the right training method as soon as possible so that she could catch up with everyone's progress earlier. Seeing this, even Ziziu, who came to join in the fun, laughed. Boss Wen, it seems that you really need a plan to manage your employees. He has always been curious about how Wen Jiu suppressed these adults and children, but from the current situation, it seems that the other party can't suppress them at all. Several people talked and laughed in the lounge for a long time, and Luo Zhengan, who was tied up, couldn't help but say angrily, if you want to kill me, do it quickly. What do you mean by humiliating me here now? After his mouth was cut, he was carried to the lounge. The medical staff applied ointment to his wounds, and Ziziu's assistant stayed with him for a while. He thought Ziziu wanted to take this opportunity to apologize to him, but he waited patiently in the lounge for a whole afternoon, but he was waiting for the other party with a group of strange adults and children. Without saying a word, he tied him to a chair and began to torture him. I won't kill you, but I don't want to go to jail. Wen Jiu changed her previous kind smile and put on a cold expression. But once her expression changed, the others followed suit. Seeing their indifferent expressions, Luo Zhengan couldn't help but swallow his saliva in fear. So he quickly looked at Ziziu, who was closest to him, hoping that the other party would help him out of their past friendship. However, Ziziu just glanced at him coldly. Boss Wen, if you want to teach your friends, teach them quickly. Anyway, I will take responsibility for you if anything happens. He was not worried that Luo Zhengan would come to his house to cause trouble. Since he learned the news from Wen Jiu in the afternoon, he arranged for someone to investigate the former. Unexpectedly, the matter was just as Wen Jiu said. Luo Zhengan used all means when he was working hard outside and even got involved in several lives. It was just that the other party's business was booming at the beginning, so he spent a lot of star coins to smooth the relationship, so he escaped legal sanctions. Although it is normal for people doing business to use some means, Luo Zhengan's tricks are really too despicable, so it has also caused dissatisfaction among many colleagues. He would never dare to have long-term dealings with a person who would do anything for money. Fortunately, Wen Jiu saw through it at a glance and kindly pointed it out, otherwise he would probably suffer because of the friend filter. Ziziu, I have known you for more than 10 years. How dare you treat me like this? Hearing this, Luo Zhengan was immediately angry and started to curse again. He used to be praised wherever he went, but he accidentally offended a big shot, which led to his current situation. He thought that Ziziu's AOS Pharmaceuticals was thriving, and he could borrow the east wind to revive his company. Who knew that the other party not only turned against him for a little girl, but also forcibly tied him up in the lounge to be humiliated. Ziziu, if you don't let me go, I will tell all your business secrets to the fairy family of the Imperial Capital Star. As soon as Luo Zhengan finished speaking, he was suddenly strangled by someone. Oh, you want to tell the fairy family of the Imperial Capital Star, right? Wen Jiu said as he increased his strength, I want to see how many lives you have to go to the Imperial Capital Star to tell on them. Mainly because of the existence of the gossipy person Zikingayu, she knew a little about the origins of the Z family and the Fairy family. The grandparents of Zikingayu and Ziziu were originally from the Fairy family of the Imperial Capital Star. Later, when something happened, they severed their ties with the Fairy family and came to Planet 3047, and then changed their names to establish the current Z family. You know, she is the most protective person, so naturally she can't tolerate Luo Zhengan's threats. Boss Wen, calm down. Boss Wen, calm down. Ziziu is an adult in his 20s after all, and has been through a lot in the business world. Although he really wanted to beat Luo Zhengan up, his reason didn't allow him to do so. Seeing that Wen Jiu was pinching people harder and harder, he could only try to dissuade him. I have arranged for people to collect evidence of his past crimes. Don't let a bad guy get you into trouble. He had people collect evidence in the beginning to suppress Luo Zhengan, so that he wouldn't go looking for trouble with Wen Jiu. After he came to his senses, who knew that Luo Zhengan would threaten him with the Xingfei family in the Imperial capital, so don't blame him for sending him to jail regardless of their old friendship. In fact, he didn't reveal any business secrets to Luo Zhengan. He guessed that what the other party wanted to say should be about Wen Jiu. After all, he only told Luo Zhengan that the reason why AOS Pharmaceuticals was getting better and better was mainly due to Wen Jiu's credit. Wen Jiu saw Luo Zhengan's face flushed red, then she let go of her hand. "Don't worry, I just want to scare him." At this point, she glanced at Zikingayu and said, "Come and sit here, let Hukiki absorb some of your resentment." "Ah, do I have resentment too?" The other party finally got rid of his angry state. "Sister Jiu, isn't it good to be entangled with this resentment?" Hearing this, she patiently explained, "Everyone will feel resentment. After all, people have 7 emotions and 6 desires." Today's second update has also been successfully delivered. Thank you to every little angel for your support and love. 030. Chapter 778. Why is there another Sunbadeo? 1. The situations of Zikingayu and Luo Zhengan are different. The former is resentful because of his hatred for others, while the latter is resentful because of his many evil deeds, which leads to resentment and even affects his luck. Although both of them produce resentment, the resentment of the former is easier to absorb and refine. So Wen Jiu taught Hukiki how to absorb and refine, and extract the resentment from Zikingayu, and convert it into spiritual power. As time passed, everyone turned from curiosity to habit. Later, Chujian and Stephanie left first. One of them wanted to go back to the East Lake Scenic area to have dinner with his grandfather, and the other wanted to go to Teoiao to clean up the remaining ingredients. So only Kaioshishi stayed in the lounge, quietly watching Wen Jiu and Hukiki practice. "Sister Shishi, have you solved the problem with your parents?" Zizio just went out to call his assistant. He asked the other party to bring the Federal Security Bureau over so that Luo Zhengan, who should have been arrested long ago, could be taken away later. Seeing that Wen Jiu and Hukiki were still busy, he sat down next to Kaioshishi to find a topic. "It's solved. They won't bother me anymore." The other party smiled at him obediently. "I have to thank Uncle Z and Aunt Fang." Hearing this, he immediately smiled back and said, "You are one of my Kingayu's good friends. It's nothing for us to help you." The two chatted for a long time, and it was not until 9 o'clock in the evening that Wen Jiu finished his work. "Okay, Hukiki, do you feel the spiritual power running in your body?" The other party looked at Hukiki, who was sweating profusely, with unconcealed concern in his eyes. "A little bit, but not much." Hukiki took several deep breaths before calming down. "Master, is this because I'm still unfamiliar?" Hearing this, Wen Jiu first reached out and patted Zikingayu, and then answered Hukiki's question. "Theoretically, this is the case. I will find more opportunities for you in the future. You should be better if you practice more." As she said this, she turned her head and looked at Zikingayu with concern. Seeing that the black mist on the other party had been reduced by more than half, the big stone hanging in her heart slowly fell to the ground. She didn't know why Zikingayu was so excited when she mentioned the Fei family of the Imperial Capital Star. She guessed that maybe the other party had something to hide. But if Zikingayu didn't take the initiative to say it, she wouldn't deliberately ask. Anyway, let it go. If Zikingayu really had any private grudges with the Fei family of the Imperial Capital Star, the worst thing would be to wait until she developed her career to the Imperial Capital Star and overturned the Fei family. "Your King Jiu, infinitely rampant. Kingayu, Kingayu? Ziziu still cares about his brother. How do you feel?" Hearing this, Zikingayu shook his head in confusion. "I'm fine, but I just seem to have had a dream." He wanted to tell the content of his dream, but when Zizio heard that he was fine, he picked him up like a carrot. "If you're fine, go home quickly." The other party returned to his usual tone of asking for a beating. "The mall will close in an hour. If you stay any longer, sleep here tonight." Seeing this, he could only swallow the words on his lips, thinking about telling Wen Jiu and others after returning home. After waiting for the FSB to arrive, they went to pick up Stephanie and returned to Donghu Garden. Zizio thought that he was now a shareholder of Teoiao, so he picked up his office stuff and went directly to Wen Jiu's house, intending to work here while waiting for dinner. He hadn't eaten the food made by Wen Jiu for a long time. It was a rare opportunity, so he naturally had to have a good meal at the other party's house. However, when Wen Jiu got home, he didn't enter the kitchen at all. After giving Hukiki a few instructions, he went back to the bedroom to do something. Seeing this, he couldn't help but look at Zikingayu, who was sitting next to him. Boss Wen doesn't cook for himself now? Of course not. The other party still remembered the grudge just now and was a little indifferent to him. Jiu often cooks, but you are unlucky to meet Hukiki cooking. In fact, the person who cooks most often in the family has long become Hukiki, but Zikingayu didn't want to tell Ziziu about it. When Jiu, who went into the bedroom as soon as she got home, didn't know the wind and rain outside because she had to hurry up to deal with various things. She first opened the light screen panel and sent a message to Lulu saying that she would definitely start broadcasting tomorrow. After finishing the live broadcast, she called Mingyehan again and communicated with the other party about the production and packaging of peanut nougat. Because the popularity of snowflake crisps was too high before, many people are looking forward to the new products of Wuiao food. It is also because of this that Mingyehan attaches great importance to this peanut nougat. If the peanut nougat can be successfully launched, Wuiao food will be able to secure its position in the candy market. Well, anyway, it's like this. You can try it. After receiving the formula, we will try to launch it this month. I can also help you advertise. When Jiu was very satisfied with Mingyehan as a partner. The other party was very capable, responsible, and efficient. Okay, then I will let the designer design the packaging according to the sample, so that we can save the waiting time. Hearing this, she immediately accepted Mingyehan's proposal. Because she also wanted to launch the peanut nougat quickly. The earlier she launched it, the earlier she could earn star coins. So why not? After she hung up Mingyehan's call, Kyoshi knocked on the door and called her to eat. You guys eat first, I'll come out later. She glanced at the time display on the light screen panel. I still have something to do. I'll come out and talk to you later. After the voice fell, Kyoshi stopped knocking on the door. So when Jiu started the third task, which was to go to the Star Network world to find a store. If she wants to make Taoiao famous, she can't just rely on offline stores. Since the Star Network world exists, she will naturally make good use of it. She plans to rent a store in the Star Network world as Taoiao's online store, and then she will hold tasting activities in the Star Network world every night. If the guests are satisfied after tasting, they can place an order to reserve their favorite desserts. In simple terms, it is a pre-sale system, selling desserts in the form of pre-sales, and the orders will be shipped within a week. In this way, even if she does not have the conditions to open branches on other planets now, residents of other planets can still taste Taoiao's desserts. When more people buy in the Star Network world, everyone will know the name of the store Taoiao. If she wants to open branches on other planets in the future, she won't have to worry about the big problem of customer sources. When Jiu thought about it and entered the Star Network world. But what she didn't expect was that she was surrounded by people as soon as she set foot in the Starlight Night Market. This is the third update today. Thank you all for your support again. 030. Chapter 779. Why is there another Sunbadeo? How come there's another Sunbadeo? I wonder if the Xinguang night market has been taken over by our Liu family army. Where are you from, Sunbadeo? This Xinguang night market has been taken over by us. You can go to the mushroom market next door to set up a stall. Brother, where did you buy the face sculpting data of this Sunbadeo? It looks exactly like the real Sunbadeo. If you are willing to send me a copy of the data, I will give you a place to set up a stall. When Jiu was surrounded by this group of Sunbadeo who looked exactly like her, and she couldn't help but feel like Sun Wukong plucked his hair and turned into monkeys. But if you look closely, you can find that these Sunbadeo are different. Some are not up to standard, some are too thin, and some don't have enough beards. In short, compared with these people, she can be said to be the most like Sunbadeo. Wait, why did she say similar? She is Sunbadeo. When Jiu was almost fooled by this group of fake Sunbadeos. After she calmed down, she quickly sorted out the information she had just learned. However, she hadn't been to Xinguang night market for a long time, so she couldn't understand a lot of information for a while. So she turned her head and looked at the one who asked her for the data. Brother, I think your face shaping data is not bad. How many star coins did you buy it for? Don't mention it, brother. It cost me 3,000 star coins. The other party began to sigh. As soon as he mentioned this, the bastard who sold the data assured me that the data he had was the most similar to Sunbad.io. But after I bought it, I found that the details of the data were too different. For example, the scar on your face is close to the root of your ear, but you can see that the scar on my face has not even reached the cheek. Wen Jiu listened and agreed with a smile. Then brother, you were really cheated. I only spent 1,000 for my data. It seems that the person who sold you the data has no conscience at all. He dared to sell it to you for 3,000 when the face shaping details are so bad. As soon as the fake Sunbad.io in front of her finished speaking, he glared. 1,000? Little brother, please don't joke with me. The lowest price of Sunbad.io's face shaping data on the market now is 1,500 star coins. As soon as she heard this, she roughly understood the situation. It seemed that she had made a name for herself in the Starlight night market, so many scammers came out to take advantage of her. In addition, she was busy in the real world and had no time to set up a stall in the Starlight night market, so those who were interested had an opportunity to take advantage of her. But these scammers were too much. It would have been fine if they sold spells and fortune telling under her name, but they even refused to let go of her face pinching data. This was really taking the wool pulling to the extreme. Brother, I just heard someone say that the LIU family army has taken over the Starlight night market. What does that mean? Wen Jiu would not swallow this breath easily. She had to catch all these scammers, especially the ones who were the most vicious. You know, she has always been the only one who fleeces others, and no one can easily fleece from her. Hearing this, the elder brother standing next to her coughed twice. I thought you should understand the market with such good data, but I didn't expect you didn't even know what the LIU family army was. Well, to be honest, she knew that she should get close to him at this time. If it weren't for my poor family conditions, I wouldn't be willing to come here. Then she made up a story about her miserable life, which made the elder brother next to her turn from stunned to sad, and then from sad to extremely angry. Xiao Wang, I didn't expect you to have such a life experience. If you are willing, call me Brother Zhao, and I will take you to make a lot of money in the Starlight night market in the future. Wen Jiu just slightly polished the story of her picking up rags, but she didn't expect that this kind-hearted elder brother named Zhao was so sincere. But she really wanted to complain that it would be strange if a liar like Brother Zhao could see other people's life experiences. After she relied on this wave of selling misery to gain Brother Zhao's trust, he revealed all kinds of information to her. Since Sunbad.io became famous in the Starlight night market, he has attracted the attention and dissatisfaction of many peers. The main reason is that the former's ability to swindle is so strong that even the management office of the Starlight night market cannot crack down on it. Many customers even went to the management office to vote and send penance. So many peers began to concentrate on studying Sunbad.io's deception, but they could not do it like Sunbad.io, who could tell all kinds of deeds just by looking at the customers, nor could they draw such smooth and beautiful spells with one stroke. There is a saying that where there is demand, there will be a market. Since Sunbad.io does not often come to the Starlight night market on weekdays, many people want to make money under his banner. Some bought the spells drawn by Sunbad.io at a high price, mass-produced them in the form of imitations, and sold them to those customers. Some began to sell Sunbad.io's clothes and face-pinching data to help those peers who want to imitate Sunbad.io to make money to achieve the extreme. In short, these people rely on Sunbad.io to create a whole industry chain of earning star coins. The person who made the most star coins in this industry chain was Liu Daoba, who had competed with Sunbad.io before. This Liu Daoba relied on his good memory. He first reproduced the face-pinching data that was almost the same as Sunbad.io, and then opened a training class to imitate Sunbad.io, claiming that as long as you have attended the class, you can do a 1-to-1 complete imitation. Many people did earn star coins by imitating Sunbad.io after attending his training class, so they spontaneously formed a Liu family army and directly occupied the metaphysical fortune-telling market in Xinguang night market. If you haven't taken classes in Liu Daoba's class, don't even think about setting up a stall in Xinguang Night Market to do metaphysical business. Brother Zhao roughly explained the whole story, and Wen Jiu, who was standing by, found it more and more funny the more he listened. If she had known earlier, she should have registered a Sun Badao trademark, otherwise she wouldn't have been fleeced by Liu Daoba. But the wool on her body is not easy to fleece. I hope Liu Daoba can be prepared to return it. Thank you, Brother Zhao. I didn't expect that there are so many rules for setting up a stall in the Starlight Night Market. Thank you so much for telling me. Hearing this, Brother Zhao just smiled and waved his hand. It's no big deal. I've seen a lot of newcomers like you, but I've never seen one as miserable as you. He also makes a living by pretending to be Sun Badao. If he couldn't make a living in the real world, who would be willing to come to the Star Network world to be a liar and make money? Why don't you change your face pinching data? He looked at Wen Jiu, who was still in a daze. I'm going to set up a stall later. You can pretend to be my apprentice, and I'll pay you some wages then. Today's first update has been successfully delivered. Please check it out. Little Angels. 030. Chapter 780. Take care of my little brother first one. After Brother Zhao finished speaking, Wen Jiu just smiled and said, thank you for your care, Brother Zhao, but I have something to do tonight. She made up a random excuse to fool the other party and then walked around and turned into a corner. Taking advantage of the fact that no one was around, she clicked on the light screen panel and began to modify her image. She first saved Sun Badao's face pinching data and then began to shape her new image. Liu Daoba had cheated her of star coins for so long under her name, and she really couldn't swallow this breath if she didn't spit out all of them. She modified the light screen panel for a long time and finally created a look that she was satisfied with. After Wen Jiu clicked a button to change the image, the tall and mighty rough appearance suddenly changed, and in an instant it was replaced by a thin man with fluorescent green hair and a red fashionable suit. She walked out with this eye-catching outfit. Although the Star Network world can change its appearance at will, it is rare to make it look like her, so it attracted the attention of many pedestrians and vendors. What are you looking at? Haven't you seen social people? She touched her shiny hair and walked towards the metaphysics stall that Brother Zhao mentioned. Brother Zhao had already set up a small stall and was shouting very hard. Fortune telling, divination, drawing talismans and writing. The price is fair. Welcome to Ask the Price. It must be said that she felt an indescribable weirdness when she heard the words she wanted to shout from someone else's mouth. However, she did not mean to cause trouble to Brother Zhao. She just walked up and glanced at his desk. There were indeed a lot of talismans on it, and they were actually drawn one by one with cinnabar. They were not fake and shoddy copies. If an uninformed customer saw it, he would probably mistake it for the real thing. However, these scammers can only imitate the fur. Even if someone can draw her talismans one to one, it will not work at all. Because she injected spiritual power into each talisman, she was able to stimulate the pattern on the talisman to produce an effect. Just when Wen Jiu wanted to stroll around other metaphysics stalls, Brother Zhao, who had been observing her, suddenly spoke. Little brother, I see that your face is blue, as if you have suffered a bloody disaster. Hearing this, she turned around and left. In view of Brother Zhao's help in answering her questions, she would stay at his stall for a few more days. Then, according to the information revealed by Brother Zhao, she found a stall that was said to be Liu Daoba's apprentice. Because Liu Daoba had lost the previous contest with her and was blacklisted by the Xinguang Night Market Management Office, the other party could only send someone to set up a stall here. Liu Daoba himself set up a stall in the ocean market, specifically to recruit those who wanted to pretend to be Sun Badao, and then take them to his own training class for imitation classes. So when Jiu decided to send Liu Daoba's apprentice away first, and then go to the ocean market, to find Liu Daoba to settle the score. It's just that time is tight, so she plans to use the method of finding faults, to make a quick decision. This will not only avoid arousing the suspicion of other scammers, so as not to alert the enemy, but also reasonably find people from the management office to help. Fortune telling, divination, drawing talismans and writing calligraphy. The price is fair. Welcome to Ask the Price. Brother, it's not that I don't want to sell it to you, but you don't have enough luck to invite the gods. So even if you buy this talisman, it's a waste of star coins. The man in front of him is worthy of being Liu Daoba's eldest disciple. He is so good at cheating people. First, use the excuse of not having enough luck to arouse a curiosity of the customer, and at the same time, it can show his own temperament. If she guessed correctly, the customer would immediately ask what luck is, and then the eldest disciple could start cheating. Sure enough, the next second, the guest in front asked, "Master, what do you mean by good fortune? I usually do good deeds and accumulate virtues." The fake Sunbadeo stroked his beard and smiled and replied, "Hey, doing good deeds and accumulating virtues also depends on what kind of good deeds are done and what kind of virtues are accumulated." Then the other party gave the guest a long analysis, and Wen Jiu almost believed it after listening to one set of words after another. No wonder this senior apprentice has been cheating, but has not been reported. It seems that the other party's tricks are higher than those of other fake Sunbadeo. Seeing that the customer wanted to scan the code to pay, Wen Jiu quickly squeezed out from the crowd and said in a sarcastic tone with the look of a gangster, "Are you the fortune teller Sunbadeo?" "Yes, I am." The counterfeit in front of her looked at her righteously. "If this customer wants to have his fortune told or buy talismans, please line up at the back." Hearing this, she raised the corner of her mouth in disdain. "I, the King of Kings, have never queued up. Haven't you heard of my name? No matter who it is, everyone has to queue up in front of me." Sun Bankson, the counterfeit, also put on a condescending attitude. "If you don't queue up according to the rules, then I will refuse to tell your fortune or sell you talismans." Because Liu Daoba's eldest disciple was relatively well off, Wen Jiu's trouble attracted the attention of many people. It is said that this is the real Sunbadeo. This little gangster is going to get into trouble. That's right. There were also people who came to Sun Bankson to cause trouble before, but they were completely defeated by Sun Bankson. The onlookers talked one after another, wanting to see what would happen to this little gangster. The little gangster slapped his palm on the table. "You are a shitty Sun Bankson. Your talismans are useless. You are cheating laymen under the banner of others. I think you are a black-hearted person. If you cause trouble again, don't blame me for being rude." Li Xianke has been pretending to be Sunbadeo for so long, and no one has dared to cause trouble to him. Do you believe that this great immortal will make your fortune plummet? However, the little gangster in front of him still had that disdainful expression, and even picked up a talisman he bought from Liu Daoba. "TSK, TSK, TSK, your yellow paper should be the lowest grade in the Star Network supermarket. The Cinnabar talisman on it looks like a dog crawling out. How dare you sell such a rubbish talisman to customers?" the other party said, while looking at the customer next to him. It was obvious that he was here to ruin his business. Seeing this, he was so angry that he lifted his sleeves and said, "This great immortal must teach you a lesson. Let you know that this great immortal is not." Li Xianke hadn't finished his words when he suddenly felt dizzy. "Tell me a lesson? You are so unscrupulous that you are worthy of it?" Wen Jiu threw away the talisman in his hand with great disdain, and then looked at the customer who was almost deceived. "It's really shocking to see it. Why don't you do your business in the real world and come to the Starlight Night Market to be a money-giving boy?" She really couldn't understand why Zenfu was always a money-giving boy. As she said that, she glanced at the fake Sunbadeo again and retracted her mental attack. Although she wanted to beat him up, she gave up the idea and decided to use legal means to resolve the matter. This is the second update of the day. Thank you little angels for your support. Chapter 781. Take care of my little brother first too. Sir, Linky, I was a little afraid to look directly at the green-haired thug in front of her. What evidence do you have to prove that Sunbadeo is not Sunbadeo? It's not that she thinks the green-haired thug is scary, but the other party's hair color is too bright, as if she will be blinded if she looks at it for a second longer. She had 10 minutes left to clock out, but she ran into this green-haired informant at the last minute. The other party claimed that the Sunbadeo in front of her was a fake and asked them to deal with him at Xinguang Night Market. You know, since Sunbadeo became famous, Sunbadeo has appeared in various markets, and no one can tell which one is the real one. Therefore, every few days, the Xinguang Night Market Management Office will receive reports saying that they have been deceived by Sun Badao and ask the management office to arrest someone for compensation. Over time, Lin Qi didn't want to care about this matter. There are two main reasons. One is that no one knows who the real Sun Badao is, and the other is that metaphysical products are too difficult to define. The former greatly affects their case handling process. They have to check the information for half a day every time before they can arrest the person who pretends to be Sun Badao. The latter can easily turn into a commodity debate. Every time the criminals are caught, they have to argue that all the talismans they sold are genuine, but the customers who bought them use them incorrectly. In short, every time she encounters a case of reporting a fake Sun Badao, she wants to find the real Sun Badao and beat him up. First of all, you know Sun Badao's business ability. He has never failed to tell fortunes accurately. But this Sun Badao didn't tell fortunes correctly at all. If you don't believe it, you can ask this customer. The gangster in front of him crossed his legs, shaking while looking at the customer who was almost deceived. Seeing this, Lin Qi couldn't help but frown. Please put your legs down, thank you. She disliked this kind of people who were looking for trouble the most, but she had to follow the procedures of the management office, so she could only suppress the anger in her heart for the time being. After the gangster put down his legs with a chuckle, she looked at the guest sitting quietly next to her. I'm really sorry, guest. I have to trouble you to cooperate with our investigation. It's okay. It's not the first time I come to the management office. Zen Fu lowered his head a little embarrassedly. I cooperated with the investigation in the last case of impersonating Sun Badao. He was smart when doing business, but when he met these people who used metaphysics to cheat, he was like a drug that made him lose his mind. If the green-haired gangster hadn't stopped him just now, he would have almost transferred tens of thousands of star coins to the scammer. That Sun Badao was quite accurate at the beginning, so I thought it would be okay to listen to him a little longer. He didn't want my star coins anyway, but he suddenly took out a talisman to tempt me, saying that as long as I took it back and put it under my son's pillow, my son would fall in love with career when he woke up. Then I was a little tempted. Zen Fu was actually not that keen on metaphysics anymore. He now mainly wanted to train his son well, so that he could take over his business when he was more mature. Hearing this, the green-haired hooligan sneered with disdain. How can a spell make people ambitious after sleeping? If there is one, wouldn't everyone be an entrepreneur? This little brother is right. I was just confused for a moment. He felt even more embarrassed when he was scolded. Actually, now that I think about it, this fake guy is only half right. As soon as he finished speaking, Li Xiangke on the side hurriedly said, I was half right, and I didn't deceive you 100%. What right do you have to report me for cheating customers? In fact, he didn't react to report someone at the time. It was thanks to the help of the enthusiastic green-haired hooligans that the fake Sun Badao was caught and brought to the management office. Although the latter did not cheat his star coins, it was wrong for the other party to impersonate Sun Badao. Cheating in the name of Sun Badao is tantamount to ruining the reputation of others. So Zen Fu stiffened his neck and said, it's illegal for you to impersonate someone else, so of course I have to report you. After all, he was a person who had received favors from Sun Badao, so he naturally had to help the other party get justice. Are you sick? I've said it 800 times. I'm Sun Badao. Li Xiangke has been acting for a long time and has long regarded himself as Sun Badao. If you say I'm not Sun Badao, then you should take out the evidence. After the words fell, the green-haired gangster who had been watching the show silently suddenly said, I remember that real information is required to rent a stall at the Xinguang night market. Why don't you trouble Miss Lin to check the rental records now? If this person's information can match Sun Badao's previous information, wouldn't it prove that you are indeed Sun Badao himself? Hearing this, he felt like he was poured with a basin of cold water. Even though his acting skills were superb, he couldn't change his real information. As long as the staff of the management office checked the backstage, they would know that he was not the real Sun Badao. Why are you suddenly silent? Didn't you just swear that you are Sun Badao? The green-haired gangster looked at him with a mocking expression, which made him feel ashamed and angry. In this situation, even if Lin Kai didn't check the official background, she could tell that the person in front of her was a fake. So she announced with a cold face, impersonating others and selling fake products will be punished, so don't think of using deceptive words to defend yourself. After she finished speaking, she asked the staff to retrieve the information. Sure enough, the Sunbadeo in front of him was a fake, and the other party was Lee Zhangke, who was on the blacklist. It seems that you still need to continue the interrogation, Mr. Lee. She looked at Lee Zhangke with a cold expression. The last punishment was not big enough for you, right? Hearing this, the other party showed an awkward smile. I have seriously regretted it. It was others who forced me to continue. Okay, if you have anything to say, go and tell the interrogator. I'm just an ordinary person responsible for mediating conflicts. After Lin Kai finished speaking, she found the staff and asked them to take Lee Zhangke and Zenfu to the interrogation room. She didn't know how to evaluate Zenfu's luck. The last time she arrested Lee Zhangke, the other party was also present, and he was almost cheated of star coins when scanning the code to pay. After the staff took the person away, she looked at the green-haired gangster in front of her. According to the regulations of the management office, she should issue a reward for reporting to the other party. But before she opened her mouth, she heard the other party whispered, Sister Kai, long time no see, is the paper rabbit I gave you last time fun? Today's third update was also delivered on time. Thank you again for the support and love of the little angels 030. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 782, Dealing with Big Brother Again 1. Hearing this, Lin Kai's eyes could not help but show a hint of understanding. She had been wondering why this green-haired man called her Ms. Lin. You know, she didn't introduce herself at all just now, so Lee Zhangke and Zenfu didn't know her last name. Your paper rabbit is very interesting, but it can't stand some playing. I can't activate it after playing with it a few times. After her voice fell, Wen Jiu smiled and nodded and said, don't you have my Star Network friends? Why don't you come to me to buy a few more? TSK, if you didn't mention it, I really forgot about it. As the deputy director of the Starlight Night Market Management Office, she has thousands of friends on her list. In addition, the management office is busy, so she really forgot about it for a while. It's okay, Ms. Lin, you just remembered it now. When Jiu put down her legs and resumed her usual proper sitting posture, I came back today to fight against counterfeiting. I already know that many people pretended to be me to cheat at Xinguang Night Market. I think this kind of thing is also a headache for your Xinguang Night Market Management Office, right? Since I'm here now, shouldn't you take action? Of course, she wanted to solve the problem of counterfeiting Sunbadeo as soon as possible. After all, she still had to rent a long-term store in Xinguang Night Market, to use it as Teo Iao's online store, to sell goods under the pre-sale system. And she wanted to use Sunbadeo's fame to promote it, but she didn't expect to find someone ruining her reputation as soon as she went online, so she had to solve this matter as soon as possible. It's just that there are too many people pretending to be her. If she goes to fight against counterfeiting one by one, it will be troublesome and time consuming, and it will easily attract the attention of the scammers. Therefore, she wanted to take advantage of the Xinguang Night Market Management Office to catch all the scammers who pretended to be Sunbadeo. Legal means should be used when necessary, and fists cannot always be used to solve problems. Mr. Sun, do you want our management office to help you clarify? Lin Kai quickly responded, but you also know that, although we have been cracking down on scammers, there are too many of them. Even if we increase the intensity of inspections, there are still people who take risks. So it's not that I don't want to help you, but our management office is powerless. She really wanted to get rid of the fake Sunbadeo as soon as possible, because those scammers really affect the reputation of the Starlight Night Market. It's just that every market has regulations. The management office cannot interfere with the business of vendors and shop owners under normal circumstances, unless these people sell things that are expressly prohibited by federal law, and metaphysical goods or services are not clearly stipulated in the law, so many people will take advantage of loopholes. If it weren't for the report of customers who bought metaphysical goods or services, their management office would not be able to interfere with the business of those scammers. Hearing this, Wen Jiu nodded thoughtfully. To be honest, I do want the management office to help me clarify. Otherwise, if this continues, my son Badao's reputation will be ruined. Ms. Lin, if you think it is inconvenient for the management office to solve this matter, you might as well listen to my ideas and then decide whether to cooperate. She will definitely not hide behind the management office to take advantage. Some things can only be solved by her in person. I plan to rent a store and a stall in the Starlight Night Market. At that time, I will have to trouble the management office to help me put up a notice saying that the genuine Sun Badao will open a store every week to receive customers, so that customers can be less deceived. In fact, she also has her reasons for being deceived. In order to save star coins, she did not rent a stall for a long time, which led to her changing the location from time to time. This gave those scammers an opportunity to imitate her and open a fortune-telling stall. Many customers can't tell the authenticity of the goods just by looking at the appearance, and they don't know whether she has set up a stall today, and if she has set up a stall, where is the location. So it is easy for them to be fooled by scammers like Zenfu. So when Jiu felt that he really needed a fixed stall so that customers would know that only in that location can they find the genuine Sun Badao, and they would not be fooled by others. Your method is not bad, and it can indeed reduce the probability of customers being cheated. Lin Qi agreed with great approval. In fact, she also thought about cooperating with Sun Badao. Although she had no interest in metaphysics, the other party was at least a real person with real skills, and the customer's evaluation was also good. If there must be someone who mainly engages in metaphysics business, then she still hopes that this person is Sun Badao in front of her. Because every market has vendors doing metaphysics business, but most of them come to cheat. This part of the scammers is particularly likely to affect the reputation of the market. For example, there are too many people pretending to be Sun Badao in their Xinguang night market. Now many customers are afraid of being deceived again and are unwilling to come, which has led to a significant decrease in the number of customers in Xinguang night market. So she supports Sun Badao in suppressing the scammers, but she doesn't know whether the other party is willing to cooperate well. If Sun Badao suddenly embarks on the road of fraud, then their management office will have to bear the blame. After listening to Lin Qi's thoughts, Wen Jiu smiled and promised the other party, "It is not a problem to suppress those scammers with my ability. I can guarantee that I can master the metaphysics market as soon as possible. And I won't cheat the guests like them, as long as the people in the management office are not partial to them. I'm a good citizen who abides by the law, which is completely different from those scammers." Before deciding to cooperate with Lin Qi, she specifically checked the evaluation of the management office. Most of the customers gave good reviews, which is enough to prove that the management office is fast and fair. It's just that she wanted to find out Lin Qi's attitude again. After all, they are going to reach a long-term cooperation in the future, and she has to have a bottom line in her heart. Hearing this, Lin Qi couldn't help but raise her eyebrows. "Then I can also assure you that the people in the management office are absolutely fair and honest. If you encounter an unfair judgment in the future, you are welcome to come here to find me to report it at any time. But I also know that words are not enough to prove the truth. Since you are willing to reach a long-term cooperation with the management office, why don't we sign a contract to reassure each other?" She was not 100% confident in Sun Badao because she knew that he had been targeted by the federal headquarters. Although she didn't know what Sun Badao had done to cause this, she had to ensure that she would not be implicated based on this alone. Today's first update has been delivered. Please check it out. Little Angels 030. Chapter 783. Dealing with Big Brother again too. When Jiu felt more at ease when she heard this. She had been guessing Lin Qi's true identity before. Now it seems that the other party should be the leader of the management office, otherwise he would not dare to make a direct guarantee to her. So she showed a satisfied smile and agreed to Lin Qihai's proposal to sign a contract. By the way, Ms. Lin, in addition to the long-term rental stall, I also want to rent a store. Do you have any recommended locations? Since she wants to help Xinguang Night Market suppress the group of scammers, Lin Qihai will naturally give her a good location to set up a stall. Therefore, she thought about simply signing the contract for the store at the same time, and she could also let the other party recommend a place with high customer flow. Hearing this, Lin Qihai couldn't help but ask curiously, "Mr. Sun, what are you going to sell when you rent a store?" "Oh, I have a friend who is particularly good at making desserts, so I want me to help her sell it on Xinguang." Wen Jiu is already accustomed to hiding her vest, so she made up a friend. As the saying goes, I have a friend, that is me, selling desserts. Lin Qihai was really surprised to hear this, because she could never have imagined that Sun Badao's side job would be to help his friend sell desserts in the Star Network world. This is like a bearded strong man named Qianshan, or a delicate beauty pulling up a weeping willow. In short, it opened her eyes. If you want to sell food in the Star Network world, you must get a certificate from the management office. She did her duty after she came to her senses. After all, food safety is very important, and federal law also has clear provisions. She was afraid that Sun Badao would think she was looking for trouble, so she found out the process of opening a food store. According to the process, the other party must submit an application first, and the certificate will be issued only after the management office approves it. Seeing this, Wen Jiu agreed with a clear face. "I know, I will follow the process." Before entering the Star Network world tonight, she went to learn what qualifications she needed if she wanted to sell food in the Star Network world. For example, the certificate from the management office is necessary to open a store, and she did not think that Lin Qihai was making things difficult for her, because the contract for opening a store in the Star Network world is not as strict as that in the real world. She can sign it with Lin Qihai alone, even if she is not an adult. Moreover, the information she submitted can only be seen by the staff who handled it, so there is no need to worry about the real identity being leaked out when the vest falls off. Besides, there is a confidential information clause in the contract. If her real identity is leaked, she can take the contract to your real star to appeal. "Mr. Sun, Miss Wen." Lin Qihai was stunned for a moment after seeing the information submitted by Wen Jiu. "I really thought you were a rough man before, but I didn't expect you to be a cute little sister." She had observed Wen Jiu for a while before, and the other party's behavior was like a real man, without any feminine characteristics. She did guess that Wen Jiu used a virtual image, but she never thought that the other party would be a little sister. Ahem. "Since I appear in the Star Network world as Sun Badao, please still call me Mr. Sun, Ms. Lin." Wen Jiu coughed twice to remind Lin Qihai, so that the other party would not let it slip if she was not careful. Although she submitted real information in order to open the store smoothly, it does not mean that she is willing to disclose her identity. In the past, she used the image of Sun Badao in the Star Network world because it cost a full 5,000 star coins to modify the image. At that time, she was very short of money and naturally couldn't bear to modify it. Now she chooses to continue to use the image of Sun Badao. Firstly, because this rough man's image has made a name for himself, and many customers are attracted by her unique appearance. Secondly, because Sun Badao's appearance is very different from her. Even if someone suspects her, it is difficult to find her real information. She wants to stay in the Starlight Night Market for a long time, so she has to use some means to protect her privacy. However, even Lin Qihai didn't find any flaws in her behavior, and I think those scammers who don't have any real skills can't see it. "Sorry, Mr. Sun, just treat it as a slip of the tongue." Lin Qihai smiled apologetically, and then introduced the appropriate area to Wen Jiu. By chance, there was a storefront in a good location that was vacant, and not far away was a place for vendors to set up stalls. For Wen Jiu, who wanted to set up a stall and open a store, it was perfect. So she decisively bought the storefront and the nearby stalls, and shamelessly asked Lin Qihai for a rent discount. The other party really couldn't do anything to her, so he gave her a minimum price of 85% off, which satisfied her. Then I won't take care of what happens next. Just go and catch those fake scammers. If you need anything, send me a message. I'm going to the mushroom market now. When Jiu's goal has been achieved, Linky and I will deal with this group of scammers in the Starlight Night Market. What she has to do next is to settle the score with Liu Daoba. Before she was about to step out of the reception room, Linky and I suddenly called her. Wait a moment, I'll take care of things first, and then I'll go with you to the mushroom market. Hearing this, she couldn't help but raise her eyebrows curiously. Why should I go with me? Aren't you afraid of causing trouble for you? The other party rolled his eyes when he heard this. Why would I cooperate with you if I was afraid of trouble? I want to catch the leader who pretended to be you as soon as possible so that he won't continue to ruin your reputation and make it inconvenient for me to operate here. After saying this, Linky and I began to input messages on the light screen panel. One is to let the people from the Starlight Night Market Management Office go to catch the scammers, and the other is to contact the management of the mushroom market to cooperate with the work. Even if those scammers have not been reported by customers yet, the fact that they pretended to be Sun Badao is a violation of the regulations, so it is reasonable for the security personnel to go and catch them. She has long wanted to catch all these scammers in one fell swoop, and now she has fulfilled one of her wishes. The managers of our various markets all know each other, she explained to Wen Jiu while sending a message. Aren't you looking to settle accounts with that Liu Daoba? So I'll smooth the relationship so that you can find him earlier. She really didn't expect Liu Daoba to come up with so many tricks. If she had known earlier, she would have put his information on the blacklist of the entire network. In this way, there might be fewer people pretending to be Sun Badao, and she wouldn't be so busy. When Jiu thought that it would take some time for her to leave the Star Network world, so she sent a message to Kaioshishi, Zikingayu and others to report that she was safe. However, she remembered the group chat function halfway through the message, so she created a group for a few friends to chat. After she sent the message to report that she was safe, Linky and I had also completed the work at hand. So the two of them selected the coordinates together and teleported to the Mushroom Market Management Office. Today's second update has also been successfully delivered. Thank you little angels for your support. 030. Chapter 784. Dealing with Big Brother again 3. Don't worry. You can join my Liu family army with only 20,000 star coins, and then you can take 3 classes a week and you can graduate and open a stall after 1 month. I guarantee that your behavior and image will be exactly the same as Sun Badao's. The Liu family army I brought out has at least 500 people, if not 1,000. Each of them made a fortune by pretending to be Sun Badao. Take my most proud disciple Li Xiangke for example. Do you know how much he made in a week pretending to be Sun Badao at the Xinguang night market? Come, look at my hands. What 5,000 star coins? Brother, you are too narrow-minded. I have 50,000 star coins. If you set up a stall and sell goods normally, how long will it take you to earn this amount? So don't hesitate, hurry up and join the Liu family army. I guarantee that you will make a fortune. Liu Daoba was patiently brainwashing the little green-haired man in front of him, fearing that he would go to find someone else to attend the Sun Badao training class. It was helpless to say that it was obviously his idea to make money by imitating Sun Badao, but it was actually imitated by those who learned in his class. Not only did those people sell the routines he taught to others, they also deliberately lowered the price to try to crush his training class. He previously offered a training class for 50,000 star coins, but those people lowered the price to 30,000 star coins, snatching many of his students with a lower price. When he came to his senses and adjusted the price to 30,000, those bad-hearted people also adjusted their prices accordingly. In short, no matter what, it was lower than his price. As time went by, fewer and fewer people were willing to take classes with him, and more Liu judged and betrayed him. In the past, he could sit in the store and wait for people to come happily, but now he can only stand at the door and frantically solicit customers. Your 20,000 star coins are too expensive. The little green-haired boy couldn't help but reveal a conflicted look. I just heard the quote from the neighbor next door is only 15,000. Hearing this, Liu Daoba was so angry that he spat. These are all pirated copies of the Sunbaideo training class. I'm the first one to open a Sunbaideo training class, understand? To put it in a more high sounding way, I'm the founder. You can learn the essence of Sunbaideo by spending 20,000 star coins from me, but you can only learn the basics at most by spending 15,000 star coins from them. Little brother, do you understand the principle of you get what you pay for? Don't think I'm cheating you of your star coins. My eldest apprentice is setting up a stall at the Xinguang night market. If you don't believe it, you can teleport over and see if his stall is crowded with people. He persuaded him earnestly, and the little green-haired boy in front of him hesitantly agreed, willing to spend 20,000 star coins to join the Liu family army. Seeing this, he quickly took out his payment code and said, "Little brother, your 20,000 star coins are definitely worth spending. As long as you take a full month of classes here, I guarantee that you will become exactly like Sunbaideo." He has also been robbed of his business by those counterfeiters recently. If it were in the past, if you wanted to become his Liu Jiu, you had to pay an additional fee. It was not as easy as it is now. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but sigh in his heart that things are really different now. The little green-haired boy next to him quickly paid the tuition and put his hands in his trouser pockets waiting for his next words. "Little brother, you will soon find that your choice is wise." As he said that, Liu Daoba took the little green-haired boy to the second floor of the store, which he specially vacated for Liu Jiu's classes. He is just down and out now. When there were many people taking classes before, he rented a whole building. Although it was just a small 3-story building, it was enough to show how many people came to class at that time. It's not like now that there is no one for several days. The wooden stairs made a creaking sound with every step. Wen Jiu acted like a gangster while secretly observing the surrounding environment. She had heard from Brother Zhao that Liu Daoba had made a lot of star coins. He required 50,000 star coins as tuition for each student, and he had to pay an additional fee to join the Liu family army. She was still sighing in her heart at that time. She didn't dare to make star coins like this, but she didn't expect Liu Daoba to make so much money. So she thought about settling accounts with Liu Daoba and asking him to spit out all the star coins he earned. As a result, she came to Liu Daoba's shop and found that the other party didn't seem to be as exaggerated as Brother Zhao said, otherwise he wouldn't have come out to solicit customers in person. But you can't say for sure if Liu Daoba suddenly got enlightened and understood the principle of not showing off wealth, so he pretended to have not earned any star coins. So when Jiu pretended to be dissatisfied and asked, "If you can really make a fortune like you said, why do you still run such a small shabby shop?" "I'm doing this to create an atmosphere, understand?" Liu Daoba showed a trace of embarrassment on his face. "Then Sunbaideo made a lot of money, but he still runs a shabby stall? I want you to learn the essence of Sunbaideo who doesn't care about money, so I use this minimalist style to decorate my shop. You have to feel and experience this atmosphere, understand? Otherwise, how can you cultivate Sunbaideo's temperament?" He thought for a long time before making up such an excuse. Fortunately, the little green hair next to him was easy to fool. After listening to his explanation, he didn't ask any more questions. So he silently breathed a sigh of relief. In fact, he had earned so many star coins before, which was enough for him to use for most of his life. But he also had a bad habit, that is, he loved gambling very much. As soon as he had star coins, he wanted to gamble with them. As a result, he gambled away most of the star coins he earned. After Liu Daoba brought little green hair to the second floor, he pointed out a seat for him to sit. "Today's class will start in 15 minutes. Your seniors haven't come yet because they prefer to be late for class. This is a bad habit. Don't follow them." As he spoke, he looked for textbooks and prepared to get a set for little green hair. However, just as he was looking around, he heard footsteps coming from outside. So he smiled kindly at little green hair. "It should be your seniors who came to class. I didn't expect them to come early today. It's really that the sun is rising from the west. After he finished speaking, little green hair in front of him also smiled at him. Really? But why do I feel that the people outside are not seniors? I saw that the other party's originally unruly face suddenly put on an ambiguous smile. Seeing this, Liu Daoba was pressed down by the security personnel who broke into the door before he thought about why. It would be a lie to say that he was not smart. After all, he came up with the idea of imitating Sun Badao to make money and developed a series of industrial chains. So he reacted the moment he was pinned down. It's you, Sun Badao. You are despicable, shameless and vulgar. This is the third update of today. Thank you again for your support. 030. Chapter 785 Teo Iao brand peach blossom cake 1. This really made Wen Jiu laugh. She hadn't called Liu Daoba shameless yet, but he actually scolded her all over, as if she had done something wrong first. Try to scold him again. She walked over and squatted in front of Liu Daoba. Do you want to know what is truly despicable and shameless? The other party sneered when he heard this. I have been in the world for so many years and I have seen all kinds of tricks. You, Sun Badao, are just a stinky fortune-telling liar. Do you really think you have any real skills? Hearing this, she sighed unintentionally. Really? It seems that the lesson I taught you last time was not enough. The last time Liu Daoba came to cause trouble, he experienced the pain of crazy hiccups. But he was not afraid of Wen Jiu at all. After all, he was in the casino, and being threatened and intimidated was commonplace. In comparison, hiccups were really nothing, so he just spit with disdain. Just your damn hiccup spell. Although he was suppressed by the security personnel, it did not prevent him from swearing. If you have any spells or magic, just use them. If you are really capable, kill me today. Hearing this, Wen Jiu sighed and shook his head. I told you a long time ago that feudal superstition is not good. Why do you keep talking about spells and magic all day long? I can't help you if you want to die, but I can help you get a travel permit and send you to your real star to have some fun. You are a fraud, a pyramid scheme, and you are ruining my reputation. You should be sentenced to at least 10 years in prison for multiple crimes. Her words really confused Liu Daoba. The other party thought that she would use some innocuous tricks to humiliate him like last time, but she actually chose legal means. You. Stop talking nonsense here, you rotten thing. Liu Daoba thought that he would not lose the battle, but he had to show his momentum. Besides, he has always been walking on the edge of the law, and he has not really broken the law. Even if Wen Jiu wants to sue him, he can't. Thinking of this, he became more imposing. Why do you go to your real star to sue me without any evidence? If it really comes down to it, I should go first to sue you for deceiving a large group of customers with fraud. And you colluded with the people in the Starlight Night Market Management Office to suppress a good person like me who worked hard to earn star coins. If it weren't for your malicious suppression of me, how could I come to the mushroom market? It has to be said that Liu Daoba's ability to reverse right and wrong is still very strong. After all, he relied on his ability to speak well, which tricked a lot of people into paying tuition to attend classes. In addition, when he pretended to be a fortune teller, he also relied on this ability to make a living. However, the security personnel of the mushroom market had long been greeted by the acquaintances found by Wen Jiu. They would only execute Wen Jiu's orders, and would not be shaken by Liu Daoba's words. Okay, if you want to sue me, just go ahead and sue me. Let's see if you go to jail first, or I get arrested first. Wen Jiu didn't care about Liu Daoba's threat at all. She just wanted to solve this trouble quickly and go back to rest. It was getting late. She had to go to Teo Iao to work tomorrow and visit Uruman in the hospital. So she took out a talisman and pasted it directly on Liu Daoba's body. The other party immediately stopped struggling. Because he couldn't open his mouth and couldn't even speak, he could only let the security personnel tie him up. Then they teleported directly to the Mushroom Market Management Office and sent the evil Liu Daoba directly to a special interrogation room. It solved so quickly. Wen Jiu was chatting with her old acquaintance, but in the blink of an eye, she saw Wen Jiu coming back with his men. You're really fast. The other party smiled and clicked on the light screen panel. I've sent you all the evidence of Liu Daoba's crime. I don't need to worry about the rest, right? Hearing this, she immediately shook her head and replied, of course not, because the evidence of Liu Daoba's crime you collected is very comprehensive, enough to send him to your real star. Although the Star Network world is just a virtual world, everyone here is real. Liu Daoba committed a crime in the Star Network world. As long as the evidence is conclusive, he will not escape the punishment of the law. In short, the internet is not a lawless place. Don't think that you can do whatever you want, just because you are in a virtual world. That's fine. Remember to send me a message if you have anything. I'm going to go back to the real world to rest. After Wen Jiu gave Lin Kuei a few instructions, he left the Star Network world and returned to reality. It was already past 3 in the morning, but Kaioshishi was still browsing the Star world. When the other party saw her open her eyes, she came over with a smile. Jiu, did you just go to the Star world to set up a stall again? Hearing this, she told him what she had just done. After all, she and Kaioshishi and others were already very close, and there was no need to deliberately hide some things. The other party was a little sleepy from browsing the Star world, but when he heard her talk about dealing with the scammers, he instantly perked up. Jiu, if there is such a thing next time, take me with you. Kaioshishi's big eyes flickered. Although I may not be able to beat the bad guys, I'm still very fierce. She hasn't been to the Star world much recently because she has been busy with things in the real world. Unexpectedly, Wen Jiu sneaked out to play, and not only did he deal with those bad guys, she didn't play, and she didn't deal with the bad guys, and she felt an inexplicable sense of frustration in her heart. Seeing her dejected look, Wen Jiu immediately understood. Oh, I didn't think so much at the time. If I get into trouble next time, I will definitely ask you and Zikingai for help. Hearing this, she immediately shook her head and said, no, I hope you won't get into trouble in the future. Although she wanted to help Wen Jiu solve the problem, she wanted everything to go well for him. Okay, then I wish me no trouble in the future. Wen Jiu agreed reluctantly. She was mainly used to solving everything by herself, so when she learned that someone was causing trouble in the Star Network world, her first reaction was to think about how to solve the problem by herself. She accidentally forgot that she had 4 friends and a little fox who liked to chirp. She is no longer alone, and she has a lot of people to accompany her now. There are friends, family, apprentices, and maybe lovers in the future. So she has to learn to advance and retreat together, instead of taking everything on herself. Thinking of this, Wen Jiu hugged Kaioshishi in front of him and said, okay, if I need help in the future, I will definitely tell you. It's getting late now, let's have a good rest first. We'll have to trouble you to be a clerk tomorrow. After saying that, the other party nodded contentedly, then covered himself with the quilt and fell asleep. Unexpected. This is the 4th update of the day. Extra update for the little angels love you. 030 Whisper. There will be a 5th update during the day. The little author is typing with all his strength. Chapter 786 Teo Iao brand peach blossom cake 2. The next morning, Wen Jiu first went to the hospital to visit Uruman, and then rushed back to Donghu Mall to prepare for business. With the presence of Hukiki, her work was much easier. So she had a lot of free time to think about how to run Teo Iao better. A store that sells food naturally has to have a sign. Since she named the dessert shop Teo Iao, the signature dessert must be related to it. So after thinking about it, she decided to make a peach blossom cake. Hukiki, is your mung bean cake ready? Wen Jiu asked, while looking for ingredients. If you are done, take a break. I will teach you to make a new dessert. As soon as she finished speaking, Hukiki took a towel and wiped her sweat. Oh, it's almost done. Master, wait for me. Hearing this, she put the ingredients she found on the table. Okay, I'll go adjust the live broadcast equipment. As the saying goes, love what you do. Since she chose to be a broadcaster, she still has to be more dedicated. Not to mention live streaming every day, at least 3 or 4 times a week. Besides, the money-loving people are urging her to start live streaming every day on Zingbo, and it would not be good if she just ignored them. It just so happened that she bought a new set of live streaming equipment 2 days ago, and she took it out to try whether it was as easy to use as her boss said. Before, she had no money and could only rent equipment, but now she is considered a small rich woman, so of course she has to buy a set of her own live streaming equipment. Wow. Is this the new live streaming robot you bought? It looks smaller than the previous one. Kyoshi just came in with a big bunch of flowers and saw her sitting at the door adjusting the equipment at a glance. Indeed, this one is nearly half the size of the previous one. In fact, she didn't know much about these high-tech products, so she was still debugging according to the instructions. Hearing this, Zikingayu, who was wiping the table, came over. Sister Jiu, why did you buy a new dragonfly robot from Banu? Do you know much about this? Wen Jiu was confused by this high-tech product. Come over and help me debug it. Although she has a strong learning ability and knows more than ordinary people, she has to admit that she is not good at something. Okay, this is my strong point. Zikingayu put down the towel proudly. I didn't expect that Sister Jiu would need my help. He liked to study various high-tech products since he was a child, especially mechas, so he always wanted to be admitted to the military academy and enter the mecha division department. As he said that, he came over and took over the dragonfly robot. Here, Sister Jiu, you have to use the wisdom ring to connect to its chip first, and then click on the light curtain panel to manually bind it. He taught Wen Jiu in detail, and his focused expression was particularly beautiful. His pair of bright peach eyes were full of seriousness. After the baby fat disappeared, his facial lines were more distinct, and his red lips and white teeth made him look quite handsome. Seeing this, Kyoshi couldn't help but joked, young master is really a beautiful boy when he is quiet. If you keep quiet like this, there will definitely be a lot of girls who like you. She just wanted to make a joke, but she didn't expect that Zikingayu suddenly sat up straight, and a blush appeared on her fair face. Who wants them to like me? The other party even stuttered, and, I'm also a beautiful boy when I'm not quiet. Seeing that Zikingayu had such a big reaction, she couldn't help but tilt her head in confusion and asked, Zikingayu, I was just praising you. Why did you react so strongly? Before the other party could answer, she added casually, then is it okay for me to like you? It's really strange that you are not happy when I praise you for being beautiful. You. Zikingayu's eyes widened instantly. I don't want you to like me. Why do you say that casually? Aren't you a little reserved? After that, he slapped the table and ran out. Kyoshi was so scared that she almost lost her hold on the flowers, and Wen Jiu, who was eating melon silently, laughed out loud. Even Chujian, who was arranging tables and chairs, couldn't help laughing. Jiu, did I say something wrong? Kyoshi looked at Zikingayu's receding back. Did I joke too much? Or should I go find him and apologize? Mainly because she and Zikingayu often played and quarreled, and the two would attack each other when they quarreled, so she didn't think much about it when she joked just now. But now that she came to her senses, she felt that it was not right for her to say that. How could she make such a joke? Hearing this, Wen Jiu thought of Zikingayu's blushing face just now, and shook his head. Let him calm down alone first, and I can help you arrange the flowers. Well, then, Kyoshi agreed, after hesitating for a moment. Then I'll wait for him to come back, and then I'll go and apologize. She still felt a little sorry in her heart, but when Jiu had said to let Zikingayu calm down alone, and it was not easy for her to chase him out to look for him. Seeing that she was still worried, Chujian, who had been watching the fun, said, you two just focus on trimming the flowers, I'll go find the young master for you. He could probably guess why Wen Jiu didn't let Kyoshi go. He was just worried that Zikingayu would say something that shouldn't be said at this time when she was excited. After all, the two children were still like little kids, and it was too early to say some things now, which might make everyone embarrassed. It's better to give them a buffer period, and when they grow up and figure it out, they can talk about this again. Besides, he had done all the work he should do anyway, so it wouldn't hurt to go find Zikingayu, who was so embarrassed that she was digging a hole in the ground. Then you go early and come back early, and we'll open for business at 10 o'clock. When Jiu reminded him without raising his head, After the words fell, Chu Jian just nodded with a smile and agreed, and then went in the direction where Zikingai ran away. He wandered around the mall for a long time before he found Zikingai and Ziziu, who was dressed in a suit and looked like a human being. "What are you doing here? Are you acting like a mushroom?" The latter was staring at the former with a puzzled look on his face. "It's almost time. Why don't you go to work? Aren't you afraid that your Jiu will deduct your salary?" Hearing this, Zikingai, who had his back to Ziziu, touched his face quietly. After confirming that his face was not as hot as before, he turned his head and said proudly, "I just like being a mushroom, so what? Shouldn't you be in the company at this time? Why did you come to Donghu Mall to take a break?" However, the other party sneered when he heard this. "Do you think I have to punch in on time like you? I'm the boss of the company, you know. I can go to work whenever I want. Besides, if I don't come to Donghu Mall, who will give gifts to your Jiu? This is the 5th update of the day. It has been delivered to the little angels. Please check it out. 030. Chapter 787 The Chef and the Fortune Sister 1. Ziziu came here specially to deliver the simulation robot. Although it was not necessary for him to make a personal trip, he just wanted to hang around in front of Wen Jiu so that he would not forget all the efforts he made. In short, he wanted to have a stronger sense of existence so that he could eat at Wen Jiu's house in the future. TSK, it's just a bionic man. Zikingai walked in front with a look of disdain. "Why don't you just hand it over to me? Why are you lazy and come to Teoiao?" Hearing this, he was speechless about this brother, who had no scheming at all. "What do you, a little kid, know? I have my reasons for doing this." Yes, of course, Z has my reasons. The other party still looked indifferent, which made him feel itchy. So he caught up with Zikingai in 2 or 3 steps and rubbed his palm on the other party's head fiercely until the brown hair stood up, looking like a cat with its fur standing up. "Oh my god, my hairstyle." Zikingai exploded on the spot, turned around and chased Ziziu and hit him hard. However, the opponent reacted faster than him and ran forward with his hooves spread out. He had to shout and speed up to chase. Seeing this, Chu Jian, who was at the end, decisively clicked on the light screen panel, took a picture of the scene in front of him, and sent it to the small group of 5 people. Jian is really speechless. Come and see the little chestnut chasing the big chestnut. Attached, the video is 45 seconds. However, after his video was sent out, no one in the group responded. Because when Jiu started the live broadcast early, he was busy broadcasting and making peach blossom cakes, as well as teaching Hukiki. "Now we need to mix lard, flour, and sugar," she said, holding up a small bowl filled with water. "So we need to pour in an appropriate amount of water, and then mix all the ingredients into flocks." The little dragonfly robot kept flying beside her, automatically adjusting the most suitable angle for shooting. Pumpkin Big Guanan, I was planning to close the panel and go to sleep, but I suddenly received a reminder to follow. So I sat up like a tiger, opened a bag of snowflake crisps, and started watching the live broadcast. Chris wants to eat 5 bowls. Can I say that I just stepped into the bathroom? Why does Sister Farke always live broadcast when I take a shower? Ding dang 20. In fact, I think you should reflect on yourself. Why do you always take a shower when Sister Farke is live broadcasting? User Luoki wants to eat all over the stars. Gave the anchor 3 guardian angels to wish you good fortune. Do you want to see the moon? Luoki is really worthy of his reputation. Which guardian angel is this? Galaxy Sweetheart, the one in front, is a new fan, right? You don't understand this. Luoki is a diehard fan of our Sister Farke, and the number of guardian angels he has given is too many to count. Big brother monkey, Sister Farke, is lard made from Gilubis meat or black wined mountain pork. I see that you often use lard to cook, so I also want to try to refine lard. Yes, but I suggest you use Gilubis meat to refine it, because Gilubis meat is more fatty. The amount of oil produced will be more than the black-wind mountain boar, and the lard refined is more fragrant. When Jiu answered questions for the money fans, while kneading the water oil skin with Hukiki. This is the key to determining the taste of peach blossom pastry, and she must teach the other party step by step. kneeling to ask for cat head peripherals. By the way, did Sister Farkay accept an apprentice? Why is there a cat head cooking with him? The figure doesn't look like the previous Mayo Mayo Bayo. Little bear poo poo poo. Speaking of which, I haven't seen Mayo Mayo Bayo for a while. Is he back to school? The only fan of snowflake pastry. If Mayo Mayo Bayo is back to school, Sister Farkay should be live broadcasting in the cafeteria. So Mayo Mayo Bayo should not have returned to school yet. Because Zikingayu and Kaioshishi appeared too many times, these money fans gave them a new nickname. Cats and dogs. The one next to you is my apprentice. He will often appear on camera in the future. Wen Jiu put the needed water oil dough aside, then picked up the plastic wrap and covered it firmly. The cats and dogs went out to play and will be back to help later. It must be said that her fans are all very talented. Not only did they give nicknames to Zikingayu and Kaioshishi, but they also created many interesting and cute comics. After she saw the Zingbo posted by fans, she also sent it to Zikingayu and Kaioshishi for appreciation. Although the two did not say anything, they were still very happy in their hearts. Because the water oil dough needs to relax for half an hour, Wen Jiu took Ukiki with him to start making other desserts to be sold. In addition to the peach blossom crisps that are used as Teo Iao's signature, she also plans to make a series of desserts around peaches. For example, peach pudding, peach ice cream, spring peach fresh milk tea, etc. are all delicious and beautiful peach series desserts. While Wen Jiu was making desserts while live streaming, two teenagers in casual clothes were peeking outside the door. Brother darling, look. Lier Peo hid behind the flower basket furtively. Isn't it exactly the same as the background of Sister Farkay's live broadcast? Hearing this, Wan Dalan couldn't help but raise his finger and shushed. Can you keep your voice down? We are spying now, understand? If you make such a big noise, be careful that the chef classmate will send someone to beat you up. Since the 18th window of the college was closed, he and Lier Peo had to watch food videos to swallow the barely edible food. However, they couldn't find a few good food videos over and over again. It was still Lier Peo who accidentally discovered a host while browsing Zingbo. The other part is cooking was as smooth as flowing water, and it made people feel comfortable just watching. The most important point is that the food made by the host is almost the same as that made by the chef classmate, both of which are delicious and delicious, making people feel salivating. So he and Lier Peo watched the host's video every day to eat, until one day they found that the background of the other party's video was very familiar. The extremely simple white wall and the slogan hanging on the wall. Take the right amount of food and avoid waste. Isn't this the cafeteria of their college? In addition, students who often come to the cafeteria to eat know that the chef classmate at window number 18 is doing a part-time live broadcast. Therefore, a bold guess came into the minds of Wan Dalang and Lier Peo. In addition to wanting to come to Teo Iao to buy desserts today, the two also wanted to see if the chef classmate was the anchor who became popular on Zingbo. However, it turned out that they guessed right. I didn't expect that the chef classmate was the rich sister. Lier Peo deliberately lowered his voice. I knew that with the chef classmate's ability, he would become popular sooner or later in the anchor industry. The first update of today has been delivered. Please check it out. Little Angels. 030. Chapter 788 The Chef and the Fortune Sister 2. He was about to sigh a few more times, but suddenly he heard Wan Dalang scream, which frightened him so much that he fell to the ground holding the flower basket. Because he fell with the flower basket, he didn't feel any pain. But before he could come to his senses, he was held down by someone's arm. Nini, there's another one here. Kaioshishi pressed the boy under her hard. What are you two doing hiding behind the flower basket? She had been worried about whether someone would come to cause trouble, but she didn't expect that she would actually run into one today. She had just wanted to come out with a spray bottle to spray some water on these beautiful flowers. As a result, she found two people behind the flower basket doing something sneaky. So she found Stephanie, the only free person, and took her to control the two strange people. Classmate, we don't mean any harm. Wan Dalang was so scared that he quickly explained, we are from the same college. He was concentrating on observing Wen Jiu just now and didn't notice the person in front of him at all. As a result, he was thrown to the ground by a beautiful woman. If it were normal, he would definitely be happy. After all, he has reached the age of falling in love, and sometimes he would always fantasize about a beautiful story. But the problem is that this beauty is too fierce. She is like a cheetah hunting, and she pressed him to the ground and made him unable to move. So he is not happy at all now, and even wants to ask the beauty to spare him. Hearing this, Stephanie couldn't help but smile and replied, "I see you are as weak as a chick, and you don't look like you come from the same place as me." To be honest, there is no such word as classmate in her dictionary. So she didn't show mercy to Wen Jiu, and she increased her strength to suppress the other party. If Wen Jiu hadn't forbidden her to hurt people outside, Wen Jiu would have died here. What? Beauty? Are you mistaken? We are students of 3047 college, and we are from the same college as the chef. Wen Jiu is now very regretting why he came to Peak. After saying that, Kyoshi, who was holding Liu Pao down, asked, "Are you two students from the 3047 Academy?" Yes, both of us. Liu Pao's wrist was so painful that he said, "Listen to me, classmate. We have no ill intentions. We just want to wait for Teo to open." Just when the two of them were held down, many customers who came to Teo to wait for the store to open gathered around to watch the fun. Seeing this, he quickly explained that he really had no ill intentions, fearing that some enthusiastic customer would call the police. Fortunately, Kyoshi was very rational. "Maybe it's really a misunderstanding. You stand up first and let's talk." After saying that, she released her hands that were holding Liu Pao down and smiled and explained the reason to the onlookers. "Hey, why are there so many people gathered at the entrance of Teo? Aren't they all waiting to open the door early in the morning?" Ziziu ran back to the entrance of Teo first. He saw the crowd at a glance and was immediately confused. That must be the case. Zikingai arrived more than a minute late. Wait, why is Shishi standing at the door? Isn't the store not open yet? Because there are so many customers coming to Teo, their workload is quite heavy. For this reason, Wen Jiu asked them to rest in the store during normal times and go back to work when the store opens. But now there are more than 10 minutes before the morning business. Why did Kyoshi and Stephanie come out? Just when he was wondering why, he suddenly saw Kyoshi waving at him. Seeing this, he hurriedly ran towards her. "Go tell Sister Jiu to give these two guests a dessert each and deduct it from my salary." Kyoshi felt very guilty for misunderstanding Wen Jiu and Liu Pao, so she thought about buying two Teo desserts for them as compensation. After learning the whole story, Zikingai immediately shook his head. "No need, Shishi, this is not your fault. They were sneaky first, which made you mistakenly think they had bad intentions." He did not think that Kyoshi had done anything wrong this time. After all, Wen Jiu and Liu Pao's behavior just now was very suspicious. If he had found out, he would have gone to stop them. "Beauty, we don't need you to pay for it." Liu Pao quickly declined. After recovering from the shock, "It was my buddy and I who did something wrong. How can we blame you?" He lowered his head shyly as he spoke, because when he was in the academy before, he thought Kyoshi was very beautiful, but he was always embarrassed to approach her. Besides, he was only 2 years older than Kyoshi, and now was a good time to develop a childhood sweetheart relationship. Just when he was thinking about whether to muster up the courage, he saw the handsome young boy in front of him, as if he was claiming sovereignty, raised his chin, and pulled Kyoshi towards Teo. He only left him one sentence: "Since you don't want compensation, don't bother my Shishi. Being a man, you should be reserved, understand?" This sentence really confused him, and he didn't know how to answer for a while. Wen Jiu, who was standing by, saw his brother's miserable appearance and couldn't help but sigh and patted him to comfort him. "Brother, although I really want to tell you that, as long as the hoe is used well, Ziohua can be dug up, even if it has an owner. But compared with that person, I think it's better to put away the hoe, lest your ending is too tragic." Because the crowd who were watching before were all queuing up at this moment, no one paid attention to the movement on their side. Hearing this, Liu Pao sighed heavily. "Don't say anything, I understand. It doesn't matter if Xiaohua can't be dug up, but the dessert must be grabbed. Let's go to line up. After that, he pulled Wang Dalong into the queue. A tall and handsome man in a suit walked around the queue with his long legs and walked straight into Tao Iao. Seeing this, he couldn't help but frowned and asked, why can that person enter the store early? The customers queuing outside all arrived at the Donghu shopping mall a long time in advance, just to be the first to enter Tao Iao to eat desserts. Now seeing Zizio cutting in line, everyone is naturally a little dissatisfied. Fortunately, there was still Chu Jian left outside, who had been watching the excitement outside. Seeing that the customers in the queue were complaining one after another, he had to put away his thoughts of watching the excitement. Ahem. Customers, please be quiet for a while. He took the initiative to maintain order. The person who just went in is the investor of my store. He came to check the situation in the store. If he had known this, he would not be watching the excitement outside. Now he is here to maintain order, and Wen Jiu will not give him any more wages. He is working for nothing. This is the second update of today. Thank you little angels for your support. 030. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 789 Tao Iao Brand Peach Blossom Cake 1. Wen Jiu, who was silently complained by Chu Jian, was now interacting with the money fans who were posting comments. Mao Bao is not quarreling, they are preparing for business. Yes, the new Mao Tao is next to him, my apprentice. Today I made peach blossom pastry and spring peach milk tea. I will give everyone a taste after I'm done. Whined like man. The peach blossom pastry made by the wealthy sister is too beautiful. It looks exactly like the real peach blossom. Lily Yuan Shangpui was originally a passerby who came here because of her reputation. I wanted to see how the new Baka food sister is. I didn't expect that I would become a fan in just 1 hour. Woo woo woo. Woman, you are playing with fire. Don't cry. Be a money fan who is not defined. Watch the live broadcast during the day and the recorded broadcast at night, always drooling with greed. Beauty speechless. May I ask if the peach blossom pastry will be sold? I'm afraid that I will not be able to grab a taste. Well, peach blossom pastry will only be sold in my store, which means that everyone can only rush to try it. Wen Jiu thought for a while and answered the question. Because she wanted to make peach blossom pastry into Tao Iao's signature dessert, she would not give the recipe of peach blossom pastry to Wu Yao Food. However, as soon as she finished speaking, the money fans became excited. I'm so hungry. RRRR. Such beautiful peach blossom pastry is only sold in the store? Can Wu Yao Food hurry up and buy the recipe? Ding dang 20. Sister Fortune. No. If it is only sold in the store, people like me who are slower than a turtle can only lick the light curtain panel to satisfy my craving. A bald man emerged from the crowd. Why are everyone's reactions so strong? Is it hard to grab the tasting in Sister Farke's live broadcast room? A big wolf 33. Brother in front, you must be a new fan, right? Why don't you look up and see the number of people online? There are more than 5 million people watching at the moment. How fast do you think your hand speed is? Glacier, peach blossom pastry. My peach blossom pastry. Screaming, twisting, crawling in the dark, twisting, split, wriggling in the dark, rolling, crawling violently, twisting, spasm, rolling, wriggling. When Jiu saw that the reactions of the money fans were so strong, so he quickly explained why it was only sold in the store. Although peach blossom pastry is only sold in Tao Iao, it is a signature dessert and is made and supplied every day. In other words, as long as she starts a live broadcast, she can use peach blossom pastry as a tasting food, and even if the money fans don't get it this time, they can wait for the next time. So don't be so excited. She put the peach blossom cakes into the dessert display cabinet, and I will broadcast 3 to 4 times a week in the future, and I will notify you the day before each broadcast. Once how, I finally waited for Sister Farke to use the broadcast notification function. Before, it was always random, and sometimes I didn't look at the light screen panel and missed many live broadcasts. King with grass on my head, Sister Farke, you finally learned to notify us before the broadcast. It really touched the world. Do you know how tired it is for me, the president of the fan club, to keep an eye on your broadcast news? Want to eat an orange? Huh. Sister Farke, such a big anchor, doesn't even have a broadcast notification? I've learned something new. The man like the wind. Why are you all focusing on the broadcast announcement? Does no one care that there will be peach blossom pastry in every live broadcast in the future? Please, that is both beautiful and delicious peach blossom pastry. Give me the red envelope. What if the peach blossom pastry is not delicious? I think even the rich sister who can cook all kinds of dishes will have a bad time. I'm a passerby. My parents are still alive. I don't mean to offend you. I'm not arguing. The flickering firelight, the pure passerby in front, isn't this considered arguing? First of all, I started watching the live broadcast after the rich sister returned. At least the rich sister did not have a bad time in so many broadcasts before. Why are you cursing others to have a bad time here with ulterior motives? Because Wen Jiu's popularity is getting higher and higher now, and she has basically secured the position of the #1 sister in the bicker food zone, it is inevitable that some people will find fault. But she doesn't care about these people. As long as they don't make too much noise, she is too lazy to spare the energy to clean up. She is someone who wants to make a lot of money. If she cares about these little bugs every day, how tired she will be all day long. So she didn't look at the barrage on the light screen panel anymore, but turned around and told Zeke and Gayu and others to start business. Many customers came yesterday, such as Bayan and his wife Renu and Ilan. After tasting the grass jelly and shaved ice, they fell in love with the unique taste of these two desserts. It happened that the two of them had another day off today, so they hit it off and ran to Teo Iao to line up, thinking about tasting the grass jelly and shaved ice again before going back to work. Welcome, what would you like to eat? Wen Jiu smiled with a friendly smile. Today we have special desserts, peach blossom crisps and spring peach fresh milk tea. If you don't know what to order, you can try it. She recognized Renu and Ilan, who had difficulty making choices at a glance, so she recommended new desserts to her very considerately. Hearing this, Bayan immediately waved his hands. No, we want 2 servings of roasted grass jelly and 2 servings of spring peach milk tea. Before he finished speaking, Renu and Ilan interrupted him and said, don't listen to him. We want 2 servings of peach blossom pastry and 2 servings of spring peach milk tea. Seeing this, he had to nod his head in grievance and agree. Right, don't listen to me, listen to her. Although he didn't understand why Renu and Ilan suddenly changed her choice, he knew that it was right to listen to his wife at this time. Okay, 2 servings of peach blossom pastry and 2 servings of spring peach milk tea. Here is your number card, please take it. Renu and Ilan took the number card with a smile, and then took Bayan's arm, and walked to the second floor. She had a good impression of this little sister. Not only did she take the initiative to help her out yesterday, but she also gave her a cup of super delicious roasted grass jelly. So I think it won't be wrong to listen to her, she explained to Bayan, after finding a seat and sitting down. It's just that this little sister looks quite peculiar. After he finished speaking, Bayan just nodded lightly. Well, her ears are pointed, and she looks like a small animal. When he thought of Wen Jiu's pointed ears and fangs, he would think of the first time he met him. At that time, Wen Jiu was still thin and small, but now he has grown into a fair and cute appearance. It has to be said that children grow up fast. No wonder there is a saying that girls change a lot when they grow up. Renu and Ilan originally wanted to chat with Bayan for a while, but she didn't expect the waiter to bring the desserts they ordered so quickly. When she saw the exquisite and beautiful appearance of Teohuasu, she was so shocked that she couldn't say anything. This is the 3rd update today. Thank you all for your support again. 030. Chapter 790 Teo Iao brand peach blossom cake 2. Honey, take a picture for me. Renu and Ilan had never seen such an exquisite and beautiful dessert. The appearance of this peach blossom pastry was so realistic that it was indistinguishable from the real thing. If the waiter hadn't reminded her when he brought it to her, she would have really thought that what was in front of her was a plate of peach blossoms. So after she came to her senses, she quickly ordered Bayan to take a few more beautiful photos for her so that she could upload them to her circle of friends to show off. Okay. The other party clicked a few times on the light screen panel and then sent the photos to her. Seeing this, she quickly opened the message list. However, the picture sent by Bayan only showed the peach blossom pastry, and she only showed a pair of hands holding the plate in the picture. Why haven't I asked you to take photos for me for a long time? Your skills have regressed a lot. Wen Jiu couldn't help but pouting when she saw these pictures. Hearing this, Bayan quickly explained, "Wife, look at how beautiful this peach blossom pastry is. Just post these pictures on your moments, and I guarantee that your friends will envy you to death." After he finished speaking, Wen Jiu's expression finally eased a little, and then the other party began to edit the pictures. So he breathed a sigh of relief, quickly picked up his own portion of peach blossom pastry, and began to taste it carefully. To be honest, this peach blossom pastry was completely indistinguishable from the real thing. If he hadn't eaten breakfast and was very hungry now, he really wouldn't want to eat such a delicate dessert. The pink petal spread out, and there was a faint light yellow embellishment in the middle. When he picked it up, he could even smell a faint floral fragrance. I hope the taste of the peach blossom pastry will not disappoint me. Bayan carefully looked at the peach blossom pastry for a while, and then took a careful bite. Thinking back to when he was valued by Lieutenant Liang in the past, he followed him around and ate a lot of delicious food. Although he had never seen such a realistic dessert, he had seen exquisitely shaped desserts several times. However, those desserts were either so sweet that he wanted to vomit after just one bite, or they were so hard that he couldn't eat them, and they could be used as exhibits. With a crisp sound, the layers of peach blossom crisps fell into Bayan's mouth. It was as if there was really a beautiful peach blossom slowly blooming on the tip of his tongue. It was extremely crispy and fragrant. The perfect sweetness continued to spread, and there were bursts of peach blossom fragrance. He felt as if he was in a peach blossom forest, surrounded by the fragrance of flowers, no matter where he went. Then he took another bite of the peach blossom crisp, and this time he hit the goose yellow pastil, and a warm thick paste flowed out instantly, melting in his mouth full of soft and sweet. "What is this?" He couldn't help but exclaimed in surprise. "It's so sweet." But not choking at all. Stephanie happened to pass by with a tray, and she smiled and explained it to him. Only then did he realize that what he had just eaten was the red bean filling that Wen Jiu had personally pressed and ground for a long time. "Thank you." Bayan was a very polite person. Seeing that the waitress in front of him had answered so many questions for him, he quickly thanked her. Then he took another bite of the peach blossom pastry. The red bean filling was extremely soft and sweet, and with the layers of crispy skin on the outside, he simply couldn't stop eating it. "Husband, didn't I just edit a few pictures? Why did you eat up your share of peach blossom pastry?" Wen Jiu had just posted the pictures she had edited to her circle of friends, and when she looked up, she saw the empty plate in front of Bayan. After hearing her words, the other party showed a shy smile. "Wife, please try this peach blossom pastry. It tastes very good. If you like it, I will buy 2 more. Hearing this, she couldn't help but chuckle. I remember someone said that he didn't like desserts. Why did he eat non-stop when he came to Teo? Bayan, who was poked, immediately laughed awkwardly. "That's different. The main thing is that the desserts sold in Teo are very suitable for his taste, and they are not as sweet as the desserts sold in other stores." Seeing his extremely embarrassed and annoyed expression, Wen Jiu smiled and didn't mention it again. "I'm a little thirsty. After talking about this for a while, let me try this spring peach milk tea first." As she said, she picked up the drink cup beside her. The first sip is a light peach scent, followed by a rich milk sweetness. The two flavors are perfectly blended together, not abrupt at all, and also set off each other's unique taste. She was about to praise the taste of Chunteo milk tea when she suddenly sucked out a piece of milk jelly from the straw. It was bouncy and very smooth, and it broke apart with just a sip. The rich milk aroma instantly emanated from it, and it was also wrapped in layers of peach fragrance. It was the first time that Wen Jiu drank such a unique drink, and before she knew it, a cup of Chunteo milk tea was empty. At the end of the drink, she even opened the lid on the top and scooped out the milk jelly at the bottom and ate it bit by bit, not wanting to waste any of it. "Hubby, go buy me another cup of Chunteo milk tea." She licked her lips as she spoke, looking like she was still not satisfied. Seeing this, Bayan quickly handed over his cup. "Wife, drink mine first. I'll go downstairs to buy another cup, and I can just pack a few peach cakes." After he finished speaking, he walked towards the stairs and happened to meet two teenagers coming downstairs together. "We are really lucky. These people are saying that they didn't get the peach blossom pastry, but we don't have to fight for it, and we can sit in the Teo store and enjoy it." "Yes, brother darling, thanks to your insight, I found the chef classmate in the cafeteria. Otherwise, I'm afraid that I will never have the chance to know in this life that someone can make such delicious food and desserts." "Erpao, don't say that. The chef classmate's cooking skills are so good that she can shine wherever she goes. For example, when the chef classmate did a live broadcast, I thought she was just a small anchor, but I didn't know." Wan Dalong hadn't finished speaking when he was suddenly patted on the shoulder. A young man with a very kind smile stood behind him. "Little brother, is the chef classmate you are talking about Wen Jiu?" Hearing this, he couldn't help but shook his head vigilantly. "No, I don't understand what you are saying." As soon as the voice fell, he quickly pulled Liu Pao towards the queue, fearing that he would be caught up by this man who suddenly appeared. Bayan was inexplicably disappointed because he was on guard. Why are kids nowadays so alert? When he was a psychologist, everyone praised him for his friendliness. However, the two boys had already gone far away, so he couldn't chase them and continue asking questions. He could only put away his curiosity and randomly chose a long line to stand behind. This is the first update of the day, please check it out. Little Angels 030. Chapter 791 Teo brand Peach Blossom Cake 3. Here are your 3 boxes of peach blossom cakes and 1 box of mung bean cakes. I saw you came to Teo yesterday. Would you like to consider getting a membership card? After finishing the live broadcast, Wen Jiu continued to work as a cashier. Although she can use the smart cash register machine, most of the customers who come to Teo now are new customers, and she needs to introduce various desserts to everyone. So she decided not to use the smart cash register for the time being, and to be a cashier for a week, to introduce those new customers to Teo. "Well, if I get a membership card, are there any exclusive discounts?" Bayan looked at the introduction booklet hesitantly. It only said that the membership card would get 1,000 yuan for a top up of 5,000 yuan, and there was no detailed information about discounts. Although he was usually busy with work and couldn't come to Teo often, he thought that Wen Jiu was relatively free recently and she should come to Teo often to buy desserts. So he decided to get a membership card so that when Wen Jiu came, she could buy as much as she wanted. Hearing this, Wen Jiu realized that he forgot to write about the membership card discount when he was writing the introduction booklet. So she quickly introduced with a smile. After applying for a junior membership card, you can enjoy a 10% discount, and you can also participate in various activities when Teo launches new products. For example, buy 3 peach blossom cakes and get 1 free, and the second peach pudding is half price, and similar activities. She will not always do buy a few get a few free activities. After all, the desserts she makes are so delicious, and they are not worried about selling, and she also wants to build Teo into a mid to high-end brand. After this period of new stores is over, she will reduce the frequency of activities. Although there will be activities when new products are launched in the future, the main group facing is Teo members. As the saying goes, the world is bustling for profit. If members do not have exclusive rights, the attractiveness of the membership card will be reduced, and it will be difficult for her to consolidate customers. So she must give some exclusive discounts appropriately, so that everyone is willing to apply for a membership card and come to Teo for a long time. Is that so? but I just heard you say that the discount for the junior membership card is 10%. So are there also intermediate and senior membership cards? Bayan looked at the manual handed over by Wen Jiu, which said that if you want to apply for a junior membership card, you need to pay 5,000 star coins. After paying, the 5,000 star coins will be deposited into the card, and then you can swipe the card to buy Teo desserts. But he thought that he and Ren Jiu both loved Teo desserts, so he wondered whether he should pay more star coins to apply for a higher level membership card. After he finished speaking, Wen Jiu answered, while packing the desserts, yes, it takes 10,000 star coins to apply for an intermediate membership card, and 30,000 star coins to apply for a senior membership card. The discounts for intermediate and senior memberships are written in the manual. If you are curious, you can check it yourself. In addition, my store also has 2 special membership cards, Platinum and Brilliant, but these 2 membership cards are not available to the public. The former will automatically upgrade when you spend a certain amount, and the latter has no way to obtain it yet. After he finished speaking, Bayan, who was standing in front of the stage, couldn't help but ponder for a moment, and finally chose to apply for an intermediate membership card. Anyway, he didn't lack star coins, so he might as well spend a little more star coins to apply for an intermediate one to make Ren Jiu happy. Please provide me your StarNet account number first. Wen Jiu turned on the card machine, then enter your citizen number here, and your membership will be automatically activated after you pay the processing fee. Bayan was the first person to apply for a membership card. After paying the star coins and getting the membership, he ran quickly towards the stairs with the packed desserts. With his start, the guests in line behind him followed suit and wanted to apply for Teo's membership card. Seeing this, Wen Jiu was immediately delighted. But she was not fast enough, so she found Zizio, who was in the lounge, and asked him to help her enter the membership. I'm the president of AOS Pharmaceuticals. Zizio was blocked by her with peach blossom cake before she finished her dissatisfied words. Seeing that the other party was silent, she smiled with satisfaction. Work hard. I will give you a startup salary as a temporary worker. If her friends were not so busy, she would not have pulled Zizio out to work. Fortunately, the other party did not care and just blatantly cheated on the guests while applying for membership cards for the guests. However, what Wen Jiu did not know was that Zizio wanted to go back to work at OS Pharmaceuticals immediately after sending the simulator. But after she dragged the person out to help, the other party was forced to give up his half-day identity as the president and turned into a cashier to work with her. Welcome next time. If you like it, remember to come again. I wish you a happy life. If it weren't for the desserts she could eat while working here, Zizio would have used an excuse to run away. After the last customer left in the morning, he instantly collapsed on the chair with no desire to live. He is regretting now, very regretful. If he had known that he would lose his identity as the president this morning, he would have handed the simulator to Zikingai without hesitation. But there is no regret medicine in this world, not even in the technologically advanced interstellar space. Brother, you are not strong enough. Zikingai also finished the work of soliciting customers. I have been standing for a whole morning and I don't feel tired, but you can't do it. After being busy for a while. In fact, he was still a little tired, but when he saw the collapsed Zizio, his desire to win came up. So he straightened his back and looked at the other party with a smile. Brother, a man can't say no. But as soon as he finished speaking, he was patted on the head. Your brother is Arteo's big sponsor after all. Please be respectful when you speak. Wen Jiu brought out a basket of ingredients and planned to make a sumptuous meal at noon. It just happened that he could teach Hukiki a few more dishes. After all, the other party was going to be a big chef in the future. After saying that, she glanced at the slumped Zizio again. Z, will you stay for lunch? Of course. The other party immediately became 200% alert. By the way, I came here today to deliver something to you. Hearing this, she couldn't help but raise her eyebrows. Deliver something? Has the bionic man arrived? She remembered that Zikingai had mentioned to her yesterday that her bionic man would be arriving soon. TSK, that kid King guy who leaked the secret to you again, didn't he? Ziziu immediately frowned in dissatisfaction. King guy who is his younger brother after all, why is he always turning his elbow outward? Forget it, forget it, a grown-up son is no longer under the control of his brother. He sighed deeply. Come and see your bionic man. Today's second update has also been delivered. Thank you little angels for your support and love 030. Chapter 792 Compensation from the Federal Headquarters 1. Wow. It's exactly like a real person, and it feels the same as a real person. Well, it's just that her Macup doesn't look good. I think she needs to change to a beautiful Macup. When Kaioshishi and Stephanie saw the bionic man, they immediately showed great interest. The same was true for Chujayan and Zikingayu on the side, but their focus was different from the girls. Does this bionic man have high combat capabilities? Can she guard the store alone when we are not in the store? Brother hey, don't think about it. The purpose of the Bina group is to provide a highly intelligent and comfortable life. Do you think that under the premise of focusing on life, Bina will produce a combat bionic man? It was mainly because the four of them had different personalities and hobbies, so they had different focuses, and there was no so-called gender bias. The four of them discussed the bionic man for a long time, until when Jiu brought Ukiki out of the small bar, and they dispersed to make room for him. Is this the bionic man? It looks no different from a real person. When Jiu was busy teaching Ukiki how to cook, so she was delayed for a while. She looked at the bionic man standing in front of her and couldn't help but reveal a trace of amazement. The bionic man was wearing a white women's suit and had a very capable black short hair, which made people feel like a female elite in the business circle. There was a smile on her delicate and plain face, which gave people an extremely comfortable and friendly feeling. First, open the light curtain panel and bind the owner's identity. Seeing Wen Jiu's curious look, Ziziu took the initiative to teach him how to use it. After binding, you can give her a name. Although the Bina group has given this bionic man an official name, most buyers will give it another name. As he spoke, he helped Wen Jiu operate it. The eyes of the bionic man in front of him lit up, which meant that it was successfully turned on. What do you think is a good name for her? The other party looked like a nameless person and began to seek help from everyone on the scene. Hearing this, Kaioshishi answered first. Since she will work in Tao in the future, why not name her Miss Tao? It's fine that Gioji is bad at naming, but why are you the same, Shishi? Zikingayu shook her head with some disapproval. I think she should be called Tao Doang. This way, we can show the dominance of our Gioji. After the voice fell, Chujayan on the side couldn't help but sneered. I don't think your naming method is much better. You might as well name this bionic man Zuoha. Teoziao Zuosuakila. He thought this name couldn't be better. Among the people present, only Stephanie didn't speak because she was busy looking for suitable cosmetics. She really wanted to change the Macup of the bionic man in front of her. As for Ziziu, she was busy helping Wen Jiu bind the identity setting program and had no time to speak at all. After a long debate, the few people finally made the final decision and decided on the name Miss Tao. There was no other reason, mainly because she loved Kaioshishi. I want to cry. Zikingayu immediately expressed her dissatisfaction. Sister Jiu, why do you only love Shishi? You should also love me and Ij. Hearing this, Wen Jiu directly flicked him on the forehead. Do you understand the difference between men and women? Besides, the man who can make me want to love him hasn't appeared yet. Hiss. Sister Jiu, you flicked my forehead again. He covered his forehead and took a few steps back. If you treat me so rudely again, I wish you will never find a good man. However, when Jiu just shrugged nonchalantly, oh then I will live with Shishi in my arms. It doesn't mean I have to find a man. Before he could refute, he heard Kaioshishi responded, okay I will live with Jiu from now on. After the voice fell, he felt that he was right but couldn't say anything. He didn't dare to say anything to retort, so he could only hold his anger and walk away silently. Seeing this, Ziziu, who had just helped when Jiu set up the program, couldn't help but laugh and said, Jiu, it turns out that you have to be the one to deal with my unlucky brother. I hope you can increase your efforts in the future and never let this brat get ahead of him. He has been dissatisfied with Jiu, the little traitor, for a long time, and finally he saw the pitiful look of the other party being scolded. Don't worry, I'm sure. Wen Jiu had just said half of her words when her wisdom ring flashed. Because this was a reminder that someone was calling, she quickly looked at the light screen panel, only to see that the window of Zhu Wangming's invitation to call was jumping. Seeing this, she curiously clicked to connect. Wen Jiu, have you watched the news? I'm still busy making lunch. How can I have time to watch federal news? She was indeed busy making lunch before, but there was a small episode of studying bionic people in the middle. Okay, I'll send you the link to the news. Be sure to read it when you're done. Also, I'll come to your house later. We'd better talk about some things face to face. I don't know what Zhu Wangming was busy with. He hung up the phone after a few words. Wen Jiu couldn't help but feel a little curious when he saw that the other party was so busy and still wanted to make a phone call. He immediately clicked on the Xingbo link in the chat box. Man Xiangxing News. It is now July 27th, 210 of Xingyuan, the time of the Federation headquarters. 95% of the personnel of the 3rd Military District and the 5th Military District have been arrested, and the Federation headquarters and Uriel Star have completed the interrogation of the personnel involved. All the evidence of the crimes of the 2 military districts has been found. The mistakes they have made are unforgivable. The federal court will hold the first round of public trials on August 10th, 210 of Xingyuan. The following is the compensation and preferential treatment that the Federation headquarters has given to the victims of this incident, and the head of the Federation, Lu Wenhu, has stated that he will do his best to compensate all the victims. This news was directly pinned to the top of the Xingbo hot list, and even as long as you open Xingbo, you will receive a smart push notification, which shows how significant the impact of this incident is. The rabbit eating melon on the front line. The interrogation phase of the Federation headquarters has finally ended. I hope the victims can get the compensation they deserve. The shining light ball, waiting for the public trial of the federal court. The believer is willing to eat meat and vegetables for the rest of her life in exchange for the exile of all members of the 3rd and 5th military regions. The tea picker in the deep mountains. I came here immediately after hearing that the official announcement was released. Why didn't they announce the details of the incident this time? It can't be like what was uploaded on Xingbo, right? No one cares. Please share with us what big melons you ate upstairs. Be careful not to run out of toilet paper when you go to the toilet. Wen Jiu first glanced at the general content, then looked up and said to everyone, the federal headquarters has announced compensation and preferential treatment for the victims. Do you want to take a look? This is the 3rd update today. Thank you again for your support. 030. Chapter 793 Compensation from the Federal Headquarters to Sister Jiu. Please let us see it quickly. Can you please not keep us in suspense? Jiu was so anxious that he forgot that he also had a wisdom ring. He squeezed next to Wen Jiu and started to check the news. Wow, the Federation headquarters wrote it in great detail. I saw it said that the compensation this time is divided according to the planets, so we can just look at the compensation for the victims of the low-level planets. He was always busy, so he read the compensation announcement. Seeing this, Kyo Shishi and Chu Jian on the side listened carefully, but Stephanie still looked indifferent and even had the leisure to design a new macute for Miss Tao. All victims whose supernatural power level reaches level 5 or above can be promoted to military academies and choose to attend military academies on their own. All tuition fees are waived while in school, and living expenses will be paid appropriately. All victims whose supernatural power level is below level 5 can obtain priority admission when choosing military academies. All tuition fees are waived while in school, and living expenses will be paid appropriately. If there is no intention to attend military academies, the federal headquarters will compensate the victim based on actual conditions. The federal headquarters will respect the choice of every victim and hope that everyone can forget the past and move towards a better tomorrow. The specific compensation and collection methods will be sent to the Star Network mailbox of each victim. If you have any questions, please contact the staff of the federal headquarters in time for communication. The federal headquarters will definitely solve the problems for the victims within its capabilities. After Jiu finished reading the general announcement, Wen Jiu, who was cutting vegetables, spoke calmly. I don't think this announcement is particularly detailed. Can you check your mailbox to see if there is anything more specific? Perhaps because the federal headquarters wants to protect the victim's information, the compensation announcement issued is not that detailed. As soon as the voice fell, Chu Jian took the lead in opening his Starnet mailbox, and as expected, there was a letter from the Federation headquarters. So he quickly clicked on the letter and pulled the light screen panel to the maximum so that everyone present could see it clearly. Federation headquarters, dear Mr. Chu, hello, this is the official of the Federation headquarters. The interrogation of the 3rd Military District and the 5th Military District has been completely completed. The headquarters is very sorry for the suffering you have experienced in the past and has prepared a tailor-made compensation for you. Compensation Plan 1. According to the information, you are over 18 years old and belong to an adult citizen, and your ability level has reached level 7. Both of these meet the recruitment requirements of each military district. If you are willing, you can choose a military district to join. We will not only let you start from the rank of private, but also pay you a compensation every month. Compensation Plan 2. According to the interrogation results, you were abducted to the seedling base at the age of 13 and underwent a gene fusion experiment at the age of 15. Later, you made a mistake and escaped due to special circumstances, so you lack certain experience in getting along with people. Psychologists at the federal headquarters recommend that you attend a military academy for 3 years before entering the military district to adapt to normal human society. If you are willing to choose this option, to attend a military academy, you can choose a military academy that you are satisfied with. The military academy will cooperate with the federal headquarters to directly admit you, exempt all tuition fees during school, and provide appropriate living expenses. We will also arrange for psychologists to treat you regularly, to assist you in integrating into normal human society as soon as possible. Compensation Plan 3. If you are not satisfied with the above 2 options, you can contact your exclusive contact Ms. Zhao. As long as your request is reasonable, the contact will help you report it to the federal headquarters. Whether you need a compensation to do business or you want to return to ordinary life, we will try our best to meet your requirements based on the actual situation. Hereby remind you, because you have undergone the gene fusion experiment of the 3rd Military District, we will arrange a comprehensive physical examination for you so that we can customize a special treatment plan and medicine for you according to your current physical condition. It has to be said that compared with the slightly vague announcement published on the Star Network, the letter sent by the federal headquarters to the victim is much more detailed. TSK, the federal headquarters has indeed considered everything very comprehensively. No wonder the announcement was so late this time. It turns out that they are analyzing the victim's information in order to come up with the most appropriate compensation plan. Although Zizio is not a victim, he is still very concerned about the compensation this time. After all, Zikingai is his younger brother. Even though the two of them usually fight and quarrel, and sometimes even have a cold war, he cares about each other from the bottom of his heart. So he turned his head to look at Zikingai. Zio Banli, what kind of letter did you receive? Ever since he knew the nickname Stefani gave to Zikingai, he would call the latter Zio Banli from time to time as a joke. I haven't read it yet, the other party said, and clicked on the light screen panel. My letter should be different from Brother Henry's. After all, I'm neither 18 years old nor level 5. Hearing this, Wen Jiu said, while dealing with the colorful feather chicken, of course, open it and take a look. Don't keep me in suspense. As soon as the voice fell, Zikingai quickly opened his mailbox and did not forget to tell Chu Jian to reduce the light screen panel. Come on, take a look at mine. After he finished speaking, he enlarged the panel. Federal Headquarters, dear Mr. Z, hello, this is the official Federal Headquarters. The interrogation of the 3rd Military Region and the 5th Military Region has been completely completed. The headquarters is very sorry for the suffering you have experienced in the past and has prepared tailor-made compensation for you. Compensation Plan 1. According to the information, you are under 18 years old and belong to a minor citizen, and your ability level has reached level 4. In addition, you are now studying in the preparatory military academy, so we will provide you with priority admission to the military academy. That is, when you graduate from the military academy at the age of 18, if your test scores meet the standards for admission to the military academy, you will be given priority admission to the military academy of your choice. If you participate in a competition while studying at the military academy and win a place, you do not need to take the military academy exam and can directly get a place to study at the military academy. All tuition fees will be waived during the school period, and living expenses will be paid appropriately. Because you were forced to stay in the seedling base for nearly 5 months, we will arrange for an online psychologist to provide you with counseling. Why do I only have 2 compensation plans? Zikingai pouted in dissatisfaction, and my plan 2 and teacher's plan 3 are the same. There is no need to continue reading. Hearing this, Kyoshi pulled out her own mail. Look, the letters we received are still the same, but the exclusive contacts given by the federal headquarters are different. Maybe it's because the 2 of you didn't stay in the nursery base for a long time, and your age and ability level don't meet the requirements for the military district to find someone. Wen Jiu was still busy teaching Hukiki to cook new dishes, and he had no time to check his mail. Today's first update has been successfully delivered. Please check it. Little Angels. 030. Chapter 794 Wen Zhao Qian becomes Wen Fupo 1. Seeing this, Kyoshi turned around and looked at Stephanie. Nini, what kind of letter did you receive? What letter? After putting down the eyeshadow palette, the other party looked at her blankly. Seeing that the blank look on Stephanie's face did not seem fake, Zikingai, who was still in a state of loss, couldn't help asking, you haven't been putting on makeup for Miss Tao and didn't listen to what we were talking about at all? After the voice fell, Stephanie blinked. Yeah, so what were you talking about just now? She had been immersed in the joy of creating a new makeup for Miss Tao and didn't listen seriously to what Zikingai and others were discussing later. The main reason was that she cared too little, and she didn't have any empathy or sympathy. So when she heard everyone talking about the federal headquarters, her thoughts began to wander, and then she immersed herself in her favorite makeup and dressing, isolating all the sounds. Sister, this is related to your future. Zikingai sighed speechlessly. It's fine if you don't participate in our chats, but today we are talking about something super important. He has been with Stephanie for such a long time, and he has figured out her character of not caring about anything. But he didn't expect that Stephanie didn't even care about her own affairs. Okay, Nini, open the letter and take a look. In the end, it was Wen Jiu who spoke at the right time to let Stephanie open the letter. Federal Headquarters, dear Miss Sanchez, this is the official of the Federal Headquarters. The interrogation of the 3rd Military District and the 5th Military District has been completely completed. The headquarters is very sorry for the suffering you have experienced in the past and has prepared a tailor-made compensation for you. Kyoshi quickly read the first line. It seems that the content at the beginning is the same. Just look at the compensation plan below. As she said, she continued to look down. Compensation Plan 1. According to the information, you are under the age of 18 and are a minor citizen, and your ability level has reached level 6. Both of them meet the recruitment requirements of major military academies. If you are willing, you can choose a military academy to study. You just need to take the examination of the military academy according to the regulations, and you can study only after passing the examination. All tuition fees are waived during the school, and living expenses will be paid appropriately. Compensation Plan 2. According to the interrogation results, you were abducted to the seedling base when you were 12 years old. Although you did not undergo gene fusion experiments, you were persecuted by the prisoner Liang Yi. This includes but is not limited to brainwashing with rhetoric, persecution with psychotropic drugs, and oppression using information. We at the federal headquarters are very sorry for letting you bear so much harm alone. In order to enable you to integrate into normal human society as soon as possible, we will arrange a professional group of psychological experts and accompanying personnel to conduct long-term psychological diagnosis and treatment on your planet. All fees are free, so you don't have to worry. Special reminder, because your situation is relatively special, the psychological experts at the federal headquarters recommend that you can choose to combine Compensation Plan 1 and Compensation Plan 2 to prevent you from not adapting to campus life. Nina's compensation plan is different from Heej's. Kiyoshishi looked down curiously. It seems that everyone's final compensation plan is the same. Without exception, they all need to contact their own exclusive contacts. After saying that, she ran to Wen Jiu's side. Jiu, what about yours? The four of them took out their letters and read them. At this moment, Chu Jian was still thinking silently, and Zikingai was pulling Ziziu to ask about the college competition. As for Stephanie, she still looked indifferent and even picked up the cosmetics to continue to make up Miss Tao. Okay, I'll open the letter now. Wen Jiu decisively accepted Kiyoshishi's proposal because she was also curious about her own compensation plan. At present, it seems that the federal headquarters has formulated a compensation plan based on the information of each victim and the interrogation results of the 3rd military region and the 5th military region. So the letters received by each victim, although generally similar, are different in details. While thinking, she opened the mailbox and found the letter sent by the federal headquarters. Federation headquarters, dear Miss Wen, I'm Director Mi from the administration department of the Federation headquarters. Because your situation is different from other victims, I will be your exclusive contact person. Seeing this, Kiyoshishi couldn't help but exclaimed, huh. The beginning of Jiu's letter is different from ours. As soon as she finished speaking, several people who were doing their own things came over. Even Hukiki, who had just finished cooking, took a spatula to read the letter. Although he was not a victim, Wen Jiu was his master, and his future was equivalent to his future, so he had to understand it clearly. Your openings are all official. Ziziu has more contact in this area, so he knows more knowledge than others. Jiu's letter was actually sent by the head of the administrative department. It seems that the federal headquarters attaches great importance to Jiu. Hearing this, Zikingai, who was standing next to him, immediately complained, "Who can't see this? Brother, can't you say something useful?" "I want to say something useful." He gave the other party a headshot without mercy. "Let me finish reading the letter first." It is common for the Z brothers to fight and quarrel, so the other few people didn't care. Seeing that the two of them were noisy, Chu Jian coughed a few times to remind them. "Ahem, can you be quiet? Read the letter first." After the words fell, Zikingai and Ziziu calmed down and continued to check the letter received by Wen Jiu. "First of all, thank you for your great contribution to breaking through the defense line of Doris Star. We will award you a medal for heroes and give you part of the land rights of Brickstar, as well as universal gold bars made of Aurora gold. You don't have to be surprised by this, because this is the reward you deserve. It's just that you are still a minor citizen under the age of 18, so the land rights of Brickstar will be handed over to your guardian, and the land rights will be returned to you when you turn 18. Seeing this, Zikingai instantly became excited. Fuck. Is Jiug going to become a landlord? Oh my god, this is land rights. Kiyoshishi exclaimed again. Although there is not much land on Brickstar, it is basically ocean, but there are various floating islands. Chu Jian, who was standing aside, couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth slightly after hearing her words. Does it mean that the landlord becomes the owner of the island? I meet the island owner when. This is the second update of today. Thank you for the support of the little angels. 030. Chapter 795. When Zioqian becomes Wen Fupo 2. Even Ziziu, who was used to seeing all kinds of good things, couldn't help but smack his lips and sighed repeatedly at this moment. Hiss, the reward from the Federation headquarters for a part of the land rights of Brick Planet is a bit too generous. Because there are many habitable uninhabited planets, the Federation headquarters often auctions some planet ownership or idle land ownership on the planet. It's just that it's difficult to buy planet ownership, and generally only the noble families of high-level planets can buy it. It's relatively easier to buy the land ownership on the planet, but it costs a lot of star coins to buy the land ownership. Even the wealthy Z family can only afford the land ownership of registered planets, like Brick, which is now an unregistered planet. The price of land on such planets is extremely high. Even our Z family only has one piece of land on an unregistered planet, and it's not easy to buy land on an unregistered planet. In addition to assets, you need connections to introduce you. Otherwise, you can only buy land on a registered planet at an auction. Because ZZU took over the Z family's industry early, and he has been in contact with various business people over the years, he knows much more about this than Wen Jiu and others. Hearing this, Kiyoshishi asked with some doubts, then is planet 3047 a registered planet? Yes, all planets where citizens live are registered planets. Only those planets that are suitable for living, but uninhabited will be classified as unregistered planets. He explained it seriously, so that the little radish heads understood it thoroughly. There are many galaxy clusters, galaxies, stars, and planets in the universe. Naturally, not every planet has humans living on it. Therefore, the federal headquarters joined forces with various military regions to go out and explore, and occupied many planets that are suitable for survival but uninhabited. On the one hand, it is to prevent natural disasters on a planet, which would make it impossible for the residents of that planet to continue to live on it and facilitate the transfer. On the other hand, it is to help the federal headquarters raise funds. After all, the federal headquarters has to rule thousands of planets. When encountering an incident, it cannot rely entirely on tax money. There must be another channel to obtain legal funds. Stop first. I can search this part of knowledge on the Star Network. Wen Jiu couldn't listen to it after listening to half of it. I want to know one thing now. May I ask if I have become rich? After the words fell, Ziziu could only nod helplessly. Yes, although you are not a Star Master yet, you are also a landlord with land. See if there is a detailed description of the size of the land, and I will help you estimate the price. And the situation on Brickstar is very special. The federal headquarters should not auction the land rights to the outside world, and the ownership of the planet will probably not be sold. In short, when the tiger is away, the monkey is king. In the future, you will be the landlord Wen. Do you know? It must be said that he really envied Wen Jiu. He hasn't bought a piece of land yet, but the federal headquarters has rewarded him with one. This time, he might have gone from a small rich woman to a big rich woman. You're right. Let me see the size of the land first. Wen Jiu tried her best to restrain her excitement and continued to check the other contents of the letter. However, after taking a look, she calmed down immediately. The information about land rights has been sent to your guardian. If you have any questions, please let your guardian contact me. Well, it seems that she can only wait until Zhu Wangming comes to her house in the evening to know how big her land is. Although she can go to your room and to ask, the problem is that the other party is doing full day treatment, and it is really inconvenient for her to disturb her. It's okay. Anyway, Gioji, you know that you are the landlord. Zikingai quickly comforted her. Let's continue to look down. Maybe there will be other surprises. Hearing this, she nodded calmly. It doesn't matter if you don't know the size of the land now. The federal headquarters will give her a big gold bar. Anyway, no matter what, she is rich. Since you are still a student of the military academy, and you are too young to attend the military academy right now, we have provided you with special preferential treatment for direct admission to the military academy. After reaching the appropriate age, you can choose a military academy that you are satisfied with, and the military academy will cooperate with the federal headquarters to directly admit you. All tuition fees will be waived during the school period, and living expenses will be paid appropriately. Although it is not a problem for you to attend the military academy now with your ability level, for many reasons, we still recommend that you wait until you are at least 15 years old before going to the military academy. After reading all this, Zikingai made a thinking gesture. Why do we have to wait until the right age? My sister Jiu is so mature. What's wrong with going to military school 2 years earlier? Stupid. The year Jiu reaches the right age is the next college competition. Kyoshi flicked his forehead in disappointment. When Jiu goes to military school, it won't attract too many people's attention and can avoid a lot of trouble. Hearing this, he covered his forehead with tears in his eyes and said, "Why do you want to learn from Sister Jiu to flick my forehead? What should I do if I become a real idiot?" "Lulu, you are already a real idiot, okay?" The other party made a face with her tongue out at him. After all, Jiu has been on the federal news. If she goes to military school now, it will definitely attract a lot of people's attention. After the voice fell, Chu Jian pondered for a moment before saying, "It seems that the federal headquarters has considered it very comprehensively. After all, entering the public eye is not a good thing. Indeed, especially when the human experiment is making a lot of noise." Ziziu nodded in agreement. "Once you are targeted by those unscrupulous media, you will never live a peaceful life. If Wen Jiu chooses to enter the military academy now, with her age, that does not meet the military academy's recruitment standards at all, coupled with her supernatural level, that is much higher than that of ordinary people, she will definitely be targeted by those media trying to dig up big news. You must know that the media are not all good, and unscrupulous media are everywhere in the Star Network. If she waits until the next college competition to enter the military academy, she can be included in the list of winning students. After all, there are so many low-level planets to hold competitions, and no one will pay attention to which planet she came from. Before she grows up, to be able to fully protect herself and her family and friends, it is better to hide her age. As the saying goes, the tree that stands out in the forest will be destroyed by the wind." Moreover, the Manchiangsing News reported that only 95% of the personnel from the 3rd Military Region and the 5th Military Region were arrested, and the remaining 5% have not yet been found. Today's third update has also been delivered. Thank you again for your support and love. 030. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 796 5 Military Academies 1. Wen Jiu first thought silently for a long time, then he sighed and said calmly, "You are right, and I agree. Apart from anything else, you Rumen, who has not recovered yet, could not leave at this time. Besides, her career on planet 3047 has just started. How could she just leave like a hands-off boss? Besides, even citizens of intermediate and advanced planets can only go to military academies after they are 15 years old. If she goes to military academy at her current age, who can't see that she is the one who blew up the port? Although she needs heat and popularity as an anchor, she doesn't want to stand at the cusp of the storm at all. For all these reasons, she would not rashly go to military academy at this special time. I'm just afraid that your competitive spirit will show up, and you'll insist on being a young genius." Ziziu on the side finally relaxed. You know, being a genius is not that easy. Hearing this, Wen Jiu instantly rolled his eyes at him. "I'm a genius, okay? I just don't show it easily, and I don't need to prove myself in this kind of thing. There's a saying that gold will shine sooner or later, you know." When he saw the other party's reaction, he couldn't help laughing. You know, Landlord Wen is now rich and talented. That's not something that ordinary people can compare to. After he finished speaking, Zikingayu took over. "By the way, if Sister Jiu has to wait until the next competition to get promoted, then wouldn't Shishi and I be able to continue to be classmates with Sister Jiu?" After speaking, Kyoshi also became excited. "Yes, we can go to military school together." As they talked, the two children jumped on the spot with excitement. Chu Jian saw this scene and couldn't help but ask with a raised eyebrow, "I don't mean to discourage you. I just want to ask, which military school do you plan to attend?" He didn't doubt the abilities of Kyoshi and Zikingayu. You know, the two kids already have 4th level superpowers, and they have experienced the brutal training of the seedling base. It will be easy for them to win the competition in the future. So he is very curious about which military school everyone wants to choose. It must be one of the 5 major military schools. Zikingayu said without hesitation. But if you want to ask which one specifically, to be honest, I haven't thought about it yet. Hearing this, Kaioshishi chuckled. Why are you talking, if you haven't thought about it yet? Only a fool would not choose the 5 major military schools. All the reserve military students who want to be promoted are all heading for the 5 major military schools. Just as the two were chattering and discussing, they suddenly heard Wen Jiu ask blankly, I have a question. Which 5 major military schools are they? She used to think that being promoted to a military school was still a very distant thing, so she had never read any content about military schools. The last time she knew about it was when Kyojuan came. She briefly introduced the college competition to her and talked about military academies. No way, you don't even know which are the 5 major military academies? This time, even Chujian was extremely surprised, but he quickly calmed down. It's normal to think about it. You are always thinking about earning star coins. And according to the learning progress of the preparatory military academy, you will not know about military academies and things about intermediate and advanced planets until the 3rd grade at least. In fact, he found a way out for Wen Jiu. After all, even ordinary people without superpowers know which are the 5 major military academies. It can be said that all citizens of the Federation know it. After the words fell, Kaioshishi immediately reacted. Brother Harry is right. Jiu, if you have finished reading the letter, you can search for the 5 major military academies on the Star Network. She knew that Wen Jiu didn't know a lot of common sense, so she followed Chujian's words. To avoid the former feeling embarrassed. Why bother? I can tell Sister Jiu. When King Guy cleared his throat quickly, the 5 major military academies are the Imperial Capital Military Academy, the Heroes Pavilion, the Heirs Military Academy, the Beichuan Academy, and the Rear Military Academy. But just as he finished reporting the names, he began to cough wildly because of a dry throat and was helped to sit aside by Kaioshishi. Seeing this, Wen Jiu suppressed his smile and said, although I know you talk the most, you should still give your throat a break. Don't forget that you have to open in the afternoon. Because the other contents of the letter were consistent with what everyone received, she closed the mailbox and searched on the Star Network. The 5 major military academies are the Imperial Capital Military Academy on the Imperial Capital Star, the Heroes Pavilion on the Palace Star, the Heirs Military Academy on the Flamanda Star, the Beichuan Academy on the Pangu Star, and the Rear Military Academy on the Kronos Star. The names of the Heroes Pavilion and the Beichuan Academy are a bit interesting. When she saw the names of the 2 military academies, a hint of surprise flashed in her eyes. Hearing this, Zikingayu, who had recovered from her shock, quickly replied, the Quanine Pavilion is the only girls' school among the 5 major military academies. The auxiliary mecha soldiers who graduate from there are very strong. One auxiliary soldier from the Quanine Pavilion can beat 5 armed soldiers from ordinary military academies. That's awesome. Now that you mention it, I'm a little interested. She had an inexplicable yearning for this kind of girls' school. What about Beichuan Academy? Isn't it a military academy that only recruits male students? That's not the case. Zikingayu took a big sip of water before continuing, but Beichuan Academy is also very special. It is said that they pay great attention to cultural dissemination, especially the culture of ancient China. Take last year's entrance examination of Beichuan Academy for example. Their cultural subjects actually have to test the 4 great Chinese classics. And they also have to test students' tea making skills. If you don't pass this project, even if you pass the combat assessment, you will be eliminated when you are admitted. After saying that, Ziziu, who had taken the entrance exam for Beichuan Academy, couldn't help but complain. Don't mention it. I thought that I was of ancient Chinese descent after all, so I tried to apply for Beichuan Academy. Guess what? The written exam for our class was about Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism. I finally got a passing score, but I was eliminated by the specialty exam that followed. When Wen Jiu heard him say that, he asked curiously, what is a specialty exam? Hearing that, he sighed heavily. It's what Zikingayu just said about making tea, but the specialty exam for our class was not making tea, but a magic competition, to see who wins first. My luck was extremely bad at the time, and I didn't know how to play magic, so I was eliminated on the spot. So I sincerely advise you, don't apply for Beichuan Academy, okay? He knew that Wen Jiu was very knowledgeable about ancient Chinese culture, and he was sure that he would be able to pass the Beichuan Academy exam. But the problem was that once he applied for Beichuan Academy, his stupid brother would definitely follow suit. By then, both of them would become failed students at Beichuan Academy, and it would be too embarrassing to tell others about it. Today's first update has been delivered. Thank you little angels for your support! 030. Chapter 797 5 Military Academies 2. However, Wen Jiu had no interest in this kind of military academy that overemphasized culture. She felt that everyone was free to choose what culture they liked. Although she was happy to see the ancient Chinese culture grow again, and she was willing to promote the traditional culture of ancient China, she did not want to force others in such a way. Beichuan Academy might pay much attention to cultural traditions, but she felt that it was unnecessary to do so. Therefore, she directly ruled out Beichuan Academy. By the way, is the Imperial Capital Military Academy the strongest of the 5 major military academies? She remembered that Lu Yan was a student of the Imperial Capital Military Academy, and her impression of the Imperial Capital Military Academy was not bad. Yes, the Imperial Military Academy has always been the top of the 5 major military academies. Ziqingyu was very excited when she mentioned the Imperial Military Academy. The Imperial Military Academy is not only the military academy with the strongest faculty, but also ranks first in every military academy competition. Hearing this, Wen Jiu couldn't help but tilt his head in confusion. Military academy competition? Yes, military academy competition. Ziqingyu saw her confused look. Doesn't our preparatory military academy have a college competition? Of course, there are competitions between military academies. That's true, but I'm not interested in the military academy competition now. Continue to tell me about the other 2 military academies. As she was talking, she saw Hukiki coming over with a grievance. Seeing this, she realized that it was time for lunch. Those who should serve the dishes should serve the dishes, and those who should serve the rice should serve the rice. If you have anything to say, sit down and talk while eating. She quickly took out the bowls and plates, and handed them to Ziqingyu, and then began to wash the chopsticks. In less than a few minutes, everyone was together, and sat around the dining table. The cooking skills of the fox fairy are getting better and better. Ziqingyu picked up a chopstick of spicy chicken to eat with rice. This chicken is 70% like my sister Jiu. Not bad. The chicken is extremely tender, and the spicy aroma of chili is overflowing. It matches the sweet white rice, which is simply a day trip to the fairyland. Hearing this, Hukiki also picked up a chopstick of spicy chicken. I have studied very hard. I hope that before the master returns to the academy, I can be 80% like the master. As a little fox, he likes to eat chicken the most, especially when he chews it with the bones. It makes him feel like returning to his childhood. The pig's trotter soup stewed by the fox fairy is also delicious. Kyoshi praised while eating. I still remember that some people would never eat pig's trotters at the beginning, but now they chew them more deliciously than anyone else. After the voice fell, Ziqingyu groaned, and then held the rice bowl, and began to eat crazily. The pig's trotter soup is very fragrant. The soup is milky white and delicious, and you can't stop eating it after just one sip. The stewed pig's trotters are dipped in a little Wen Jiu special sauce, which makes the trotters more delicious and spicy. It is full of freshness and delicious. The trotters are chewy and meaty, but they are not greasy at all. Even Ziziu, who was eating pig's trotters for the first time, couldn't help but chew 2 big trotters. If you ask me, why don't you let Fox Fairy open a restaurant or a hotel? He wiped his fingers with a tissue after chewing the pig's trotter. Then I'll definitely help you make a lot of money. Hearing this, Wen Jiu, who had just picked up a piece of vegetable with chopsticks, shook his head. Forget it, I don't want to exploit the little fox. Besides, he still has to be the deputy store manager of Teoiao. Now Teoiao hasn't developed yet, so let's put it on hold. She just wants to develop Teoiao and make it a well-known brand throughout the galaxy. As for opening restaurants, let's wait and see. By the way, I haven't finished talking just now. She looked at Ziqingyu, who was eating quietly. How strong are the Heirs Military Academy and the Ria Military Academy? Is there anything special about them? After she finished speaking, the other party raised her head and said, Sister Jiu, you should know the god of war as in ancient Greek mythology, right? So the Ayers Military Academy mainly trains armed mecha soldiers, and the armed mecha soldiers who graduate from here are particularly good at fighting. As for strength, it's neither good nor bad, because the Ayers Military Academy pays too much attention to training armed mecha soldiers, and there has never been any powerful auxiliary mecha soldiers or commanders, so it has always been ranked third in every military academy competition. After he finished speaking, Chu Jian immediately spoke. In fact, the overall strength of the Ayers Military Academy is not bad. After all, it can be called one of the 5 major military academies, so it must not be weak. Seeing this, Wen Jiu smiled and joked, Zikingai was talking for a long time just now, but you didn't say anything. As soon as the Ayers Military Academy was mentioned, you can't sit still. Brother Harry, it seems that you really want to go to the Ayers Military Academy. Personally, I do want to apply to Ayers Military Academy. Chu Jian looked at her with interest, but I want to go to the same military academy with you, so that you can call me senior. Anyway, with my ability, it doesn't matter which military academy I go to, I'm definitely a student at the top of the military academy. I will help you pave the way first, and when you are promoted to the military academy, I will protect you, and walk sideways in the military academy. After hearing this, the corners of her mouth twitched for a moment. I beg you, don't be so greasy, I can't eat anymore. She now regrets very much that she let Chu Jian read those old novels and let him learn the words of the domineering CEO. Xiao, keep talking. What is the other military academy? She asked while picking up the dishes, and did not forget to comment on Hukiki's cooking skills. Next time, stew the pig soup for 1 minute less, it's a bit too soft and chewy. After the words fell, Hukiki nodded and agreed. Zikingai answered, after drinking a big bowl of pig's foot soup, there is another military academy, Ruai Military Academy. This military academy is also very special. It is the only one of the 5 major military academies that does not belong to a military region. Not affiliated with a military region. What does that mean? Wen Jiu became interested when she heard this, because she liked to learn knowledge that she didn't know. It means that it is not subject to the supervision of any military region, and there is no investment from any military region. Zikingai scooped another big bowl of pig's foot soup. For example, the Imperial Capital Military Academy belongs to the 1st Military Region, so students will be given priority to be recruited by the 1st Military Region after graduation. And during the school period, you can take on the tasks issued by the 1st Military Region, get the opportunity to go out for training and accumulate experience, and it will be easier to adapt to the military region in the future than other military academy students. Anyway, military academies affiliated with military regions have many benefits, so people generally give priority to this type of military academy. Hearing this, Wen Jiu nodded as if he understood. If that's what you said, why is Ria Military Academy among the top 5 military academies? Aren't people all rushing to apply for military academies that belong to military regions? She was quite interested in Ria Military Academy. After all, she was kidnapped by the 3rd Military Region, so she didn't trust those military regions very much. This is the 2nd update of the day. Thank you again for your support. 030. Chapter 798 Miss Tao 1. Hearing this, Zikingai quickly swallowed the chicken. Although the Ria Military Academy is the only private military academy that is not affiliated with any military region, and its faculty is far inferior to other military academies, their conditions for recruiting students are more relaxed than the other 5 major ones. And there are subsidies to go to school, so there are a lot of students who apply to the Ria Military Academy every year. Some students who failed in the other 5 major schools will also settle for the Ria Military Academy as a second choice. After hearing what he said, Wen Jiu understood instantly. That is to say, the other 5 major schools win with elite students, while the Ria Military Academy relies on the number of people to squeeze in. After all, there is always one good student out of 1,000, so there will always be a student who ranks high among a group of people, which adds luster to the Ria Military Academy. You can't say that. The Ruai Military Academy must have strength to be among the top 5. Zikingai rarely showed a look of disapproval. Anyway, the 5 major military academies each have their own advantages. Sister Jiu, you can search on the Star Network to see. After speaking, Ziziu on the side nodded and said, that's right. Although the Ruai Military Academy has gradually declined in recent years, it was still very powerful in its early years. You should know that the founder of the Ruai Military Academy was a very famous 3 series psychic. At the beginning, under his leadership, the Ruai Military Academy was no less than the Imperial Capital Military Academy. His words instantly caught Wen Jiu's attention. 3 series psychic? I remember Teacher Lee mentioned it in class before, saying that there were only 2 seniors in the history of the Federation who possessed 3 series psychics. Yes, there are indeed only 2 3 series psychics so far, he patiently answered the other party. One of them, Senior Kin, is the founder of the Ruai Military Academy. Hearing this, Wen Jiu nodded with a look of understanding. So that's how it is. It seems that the 5 major military academies really have their own characteristics and advantages. Several people ate and chatted, and it was almost 1 PM by the end of the meal. Because Taoiao's afternoon business hours were about to begin. After lunch, Wen Jiu could only lead everyone to hurry up and prepare. Fortunately, they had all received training at the seedling base before, so they would not feel tired, even if they did not rest for a whole morning. You know, when they were at the seedling base, they had to train from 7 or 8 in the morning to the evening, with only 10 minutes of rest in between. In comparison, working a day at Taoiao is simply a breeze. Miss Tao, please put the tables and chairs on the first floor in order. Because Zizia helped when Jiu set up the program at noon, she only needed to give an order now, and Miss Tao would work step by step. As her voice fell, Miss Tao immediately started to act like a human being, and in the blink of an eye, she put the tables and chairs in order. Seeing this, she couldn't help but sigh in her heart. High-tech stuff is really useful. Sister Jiu, you can ask Miss Tao to do some simple work in the next 2 days to let her adapt. Zikingai passed by with a box of ingredients. After she adapts, you can teach her to cook, like you taught Ukiki. When she heard this, she asked curiously, can I just teach her directly? Don't I need to enter the program or something? She remembered that the cooking robots in the college cafeteria all had to enter the program to cook. But just as she finished her words, Zikingai hadn't answered yet, and she heard Miss Tao say, Master, I'm a highly intelligent bionic man. I have my own consciousness. You can tell me verbally anything you need me to do. If you need me to learn any skills to help you, you can choose to teach me in person or let me learn online by myself. Miss Tao's voice is just like her initial appearance, gentle but with a hint of sharp simplicity. Hearing this, Wen Jiu's almond eyes widened. Is this the power of star coins? No. Technology. Then she tried to communicate with Miss Tao again, and found that she was like a real human. For example, when she asked Miss Tao to arrange the flowers, she would replace the bright roses selected by Kaioshishi with daisies that were more suitable for the atmosphere of the store according to her own consciousness and ideas. For another example, when Miss Tao passed by the mirror, she would stop to admire her new makeup. She could even accurately find the makeup artist Stephanie and tell her what style she liked more and hope to change to this style of makeup next time. Zikingai, are all bionic people self-aware? When Jiu was quietly observing Miss Tao's every move, for some reason, she had a sense of horror that robots had taken over the world. The other party was communicating with Stephanie at the moment, and her every frown and smile was exactly the same as a real person. Hearing this, Zikingai lowered her voice and said, the bionic people produced by the big groups all have self-awareness. After all, they are bionic people, so they naturally have to move closer to real humans. But you can rest assured, Sister Jiu, although bionic people have self-awareness, they still rely on energy to operate, so they are still robots in essence. And there are hard instructions in their systems that prohibit betrayal. If triggered, all data will be automatically cleared forcibly. Therefore, these bionic people will not betray their masters anyway. After hearing this explanation, Wen Jiu relaxed a little. So she took the ingredients from Zikingai and hurried to make the desserts, to be sold in the afternoon. Hey, Sister Jiu. The other party wanted to turn around and do something else, but suddenly stopped. Why aren't you wearing the wisdom ring I gave you? Because the 8th military region turned the nursery base upside down, most of the children's confiscated items were found. Zikingayu and the others also got back their lost items and returned the spare wisdom ring from the 8th military region that they had borrowed before and continued to use their own wisdom ring. However, Chujian and Stephanie did not have wisdom rings, so they bought them after returning to planet 3047. Sister Jiu, where is the custom-made one I gave you? Zikingayu had not noticed these days that the wisdom ring that Wen Jiu wore was not the one he gave her. I ordered it with my New Year's money. After the words fell, the other party answered while picking fruits. Oh, I was alone on Doris Star before, and I wanted to contact you, but I didn't have a wisdom ring, so my friend gave me one to make do with. Friend? You are not talking about Little Iceberg, are you? Zikingayu thought about it and couldn't think of anyone else. If it is really him, then I congratulate you first, because you have another rich friend. Today's third update has also been delivered. Thank you all for your support and love again. 030. Chapter 799 Miss Peach 2. As the sun sets, the afterglow of the setting sun illuminates a fiery orange-red sky. The evening breeze blows gently, making the jade green leaves rustle. Here are 2 servings of peach blossom pastry and 3 servings of spring peach milk tea for you. Please take them. The fork and straw are already in the takeaway bag. If you don't eat them tonight, please keep them in the refrigerator. Welcome to visit next time. When Jiu sent off the last customer with a smile on his face. It happened that the desserts in the store were almost sold out, and there were some left that she planned to take home for breakfast. It was not because there were few customers coming to Teoiao that there were left, but because there were too many customers who wanted to buy desserts. So she could only set a limit on purchases to prevent customers from always packing 10 or 20 servings. Although it is a good thing that more customers come and more desserts are sold, the problem is that she and Hukiki have a limited workload. Even if the two of them have been busy making desserts, they can't keep up with the speed of customers' crazy purchases. So when Jiu made a rule that each person was limited to buying 5 desserts, and the free desserts were not included in the list, this temporarily slowed down the consumption of desserts and made her and Hukiki feel much more relaxed. Just as she was about to clean up the table, Zikingayu suddenly came up to her with a gossipy look on her face. Jiug, just tell me the identity of Little Iceberg. I will definitely keep it a secret for you and won't tell anyone. Hearing this, she chuckled. Come on, everyone knows that you like to gossip the most. If I tell you the identity of Little Iceberg now, I'm afraid that everyone else will know it before the evening. Ever since Zikingayu discovered that the wisdom ring she was wearing was different, he began to pester her to ask about the true identity of Little Iceberg. No, I'm the most tight-lipped, okay? The other party tugged at the corner of her clothes aggrievedly. Jiug, that wisdom ring is a high-end product of the Lake Group. Do you know how many star coins it costs to buy one? She asked while wiping the countertop. How many star coins? Tell me the identity of Little Iceberg, and I'll tell you how many star coins it costs. The grievance on Zikingayu's face was swept away, and instantly turned into a smug and proud expression. Seeing this, she shrugged nonchalantly. If you don't want to tell me, forget it. I'll find out after I'm done with my work on the Star Network. Before Zikingayu could react, she threw a towel over and told the other party to hurry up and work so that she could go home and rest early. Just when Wen Jiu thought the world was quiet, Chujian was seen leaning on the bar with an unclear expression. Little master, you were not kidnapped by a wisdom ring, were you? Although the other party was smiling and asking her, there was a sense of imminent danger. That local specialty is not a good thing. Hearing this, she threw away the towel in her hand. Why are you listening to gossip here instead of working hard? And what local specialty did you just talk about? I'm working. I'm mopping the floor. Chujian raised the corner of his mouth lazily. It was the one who sent you home that day. Stephanie called him a local specialty. I don't know when everyone started to get used to using the magical nickname given by Stephanie. When she heard this, she understood. Can't you call him Little Iceberg? The name of local specialty is too weird. Besides, Little Iceberg's temperament is pretty good. I think he is a friend worth making friends with. As soon as he finished speaking, Chu Jian instantly revealed a trace of ferocity. How can a local specialty be good? He stepped on my hand at the beginning. My hand was broken. Don't be deceived by the appearance of such a violent person. But his ferocity did not last long before he was broken by Wen Jiu's white eyes. You were challenging Little Iceberg at that time. Isn't it normal for him to step on you twice? The other party couldn't help but reveal a trace of disgust when he said this. Chu Jian, you can't afford to lose, right? After hearing this, he sneered. I can't afford to lose? How is that possible? What I mean is that you should stay away from such violent element in case local specialty steps on your hand in the future. Before he finished speaking, he was interrupted by Wen Jiu. First of all, it's not that I can't beat Little Iceberg, and there is no such thing as him stepping on my hand. Secondly, if we really talk about violent element, shouldn't I throw you out? When you just turned back from Ziohui to a human, you almost destroyed my living room. And later you lost control once. If it weren't for my strong strength. He couldn't listen to this anymore, so he quickly picked up the mop and towel and fled the scene of social death with an embarrassed face. Because what he least wanted to mention was not the days of suffering in the nursery base, but the time when he pretended to have amnesia and played miserable with Wen Jiu. He didn't feel it when he was pretending, but now he feels embarrassed when he thinks about it. Very, very embarrassed. TSK, don't say bad things about 2.0 Bingshan in front of me in the future. Wen Jiu saw him fleeing in a panic and couldn't help but add with a smile, otherwise I will mention your embarrassing things every day. Hearing this, he was so angry that his heart was choked, but he didn't know how to refute, so he could only hold the mop in his hand tightly. Catcher. Ziqingyu, who had been paying attention to the movement, shouted hurriedly when she heard the sound. Jiu. I report that each broke the mop. Chu Jian first stared blankly at the fallen mop, and then raised his head and looked at Wen Jiu with a cold face. Haha, can I pay double the star coins? You can deduct it from my wages. A strong desire to survive made him swallow his sophistry. I will never do it again in the future. I swear. However, the other party just walked into the warehouse silently and moved out a square cardboard box. Alas, it seems that the robot has to be used when it is needed. Wen Jiu couldn't help but sighed heavily. Let us thank Dr. Zhu for the opening gift, the cleaning robot. Because Zhu Wangming has been busy these days, he asked someone to send the opening gift. Coincidentally, the gift sent by Zhu Wangming was a cleaning robot, but she was busy with other things and forgot to take it out and use it. Here, throw away the broken mop, she said while debugging the robot. As the saying goes, the old does not go, the new does not come, but I will still deduct the salary. Seeing that she did not blame him, Chu Jian felt relieved and immediately took the broken mop into the warehouse. Several people worked together for half an hour and finally finished the finishing work. Let's go home and rest. Before leaving, Wen Jiu left Miss Tao and Teo Iao. Anyway, there is an employee lounge in the store, and she can stay in it to sleep. This is the first update of the day. Thank you for the support of the Little Angels 030. Chapter 800 Lin Qi's Dilemma 1. Everyone was really busy all day. Although they were not physically tired, they were still a little tired mentally. So the 5 people and the fox just got home and changed their clothes and slippers. Those who should fall on the bed fell on the bed, and those who should collapse on the sofa collapsed on the sofa. Shishi, I'm going to the Star Network world. Do you want to go with me? Because Zhu Wangming said that he might not be able to come tonight. When Jiu thought about going to the Star Network world to deal with the remaining things. She originally wanted to connect to the Star Network world directly, but she suddenly thought of what Kao Shishi said before, so she took the initiative to invite the other party to go with her. Okay, Kao Shishi immediately agreed when she heard her words. Then can I call Zio Banley? He asked me to go to the amusement park 2 days ago. There are also amusement parks in the Star Network world, and there are many different themes. Because going to an amusement park in the real world consumes a lot of energy and financial resources. Everyone prefers to make an appointment to play in the amusement park in the Star Network world. Hearing this, she thought for a moment and replied, then you can just ask him to call Heej as well, and then I'll go ask Nini if she wants to come, and the 5 of us can go to the amusement park together. Speaking of which, she hasn't been to the amusement park in the Star Network world yet, so it's a rare opportunity for her to go there with Kaioshishi. The other party agreed with this proposal, so the 2 of them divided the work and soon the 5-person team met in the Star Network world. Fuck. Who is this? Could it be my sister Jiu? When Jiu had just entered the Star Network world, when he heard Zikingayu's exclamation. In addition, Kaioshishi also took a breath. Chujian was trying hard to hold back his smile, and his shoulders kept shaking. Only Stephanie's expression was relatively calm, and she even gave a very objective evaluation. Seeing this, Wen Jiu remembered that she forgot to switch her image. But in addition to the image of a green-haired gangster, she only had the image of Sun Badao, a rough man. If she wanted to change her image, she would have to spend 5,000 star coins. Although she had become a wealthy woman, her stingy nature could not be changed. So she just shrugged indifferently. It's me. If you are used to it, just look at it. If you are not used to it, just cover your eyes. Anyway, I can't bear to spend star coins to change it. No, I'm used to it. I'm especially used to it. Zikingai waved her hands quickly. Jiug, I have heard Shishi say that your image is very domineering, but I didn't expect it to be such a domineering aura. After the words fell, Chujian on the side almost laughed to death. Ha 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 ha. Little chestnut, I suspect you are implying your sister Jiu. TSK, you two talk too much every day. When Jiu was too lazy to pay attention to the 2 boys, who paid attention to their image, Shishi Nini, let's go, follow me to do things. Her first task now was to find Lin Qi, get the certificate she had applied for from the management office before, and then put the things she had ordered before in the store. Hearing this, Kaioshishi and Stephanie looked at each other, and then followed her to the management office. The left behind Zikingayu and Chujian followed them in a hurry. Coincidentally, the 5 of them all used virtual images. If they hadn't agreed to meet at the same coordinate point, they would not have been able to recognize each other in the Star Network world. Kaioshishi maintained her favorite cute style, with a grey pink princess puffy skirt and golden curly hair, and a big and soft toy rabbit in her arms. Zikingayu chose a western style young master style, with a red rose pinned on her blue and black suit, her light golden hair shining like broken gold, and a finely crafted lace hat, making her look delicate and luxurious. At first glance, the styles of the 2 children were quite harmonious. It was Chujian and Stephanie who were mixed in, who were particularly abrupt. The 2 of them looked like passers-by who had come in randomly. The former was wearing a blue and white sportswear, and there was a cattail swaying behind him. The originally eye-catching face was modified to become a common face that people would not want to look at more. The latter directly changed his almost sickly white skin color to black, and his pair of light amber eyes looked clearer against this skin color. The shiny golden gauze dress perfectly outlined the curves of her body, and she wore gold ornaments that made sounds on her wrists and ankles, which attracted the attention of passers-by every step she took. Fortunately, there are so many exaggerated virtual images in the Star Network world, so the 5 of them would not stand out too much when walking together. At first I thought that the one who attracted the most attention from passers-by was Feng Feng, said Zikingayu, who felt so many eyes focused on herself for the first time. As a result, I followed the eyes of passers-by and found that the most attractive person was actually Mr. Wen Wang. Because when Jiu told them not to reveal real information, several friends came up with some new nicknames. After saying that, Chujian stretched and replied, there is no way, who made Mr. Wang's green hair so eye-catching? He originally wanted to persuade Wen Jiu to change his hair color, but the other party insisted that this color symbolizes health, and it is impossible to change it. Stephanie nodded when she heard this. Jiu's aesthetics are still online, but this image is indeed a little exaggerated. I think it would be better to change the hair color to wine red, because fluorescent green is really shiny. Well, I don't think it's a problem of hair color. Kyoshi took over the topic with some helplessness. Okay, let's accompany Jiu to do things first. And then we can go to the amusement park to play. Wen Jiu has been listening to their discussion. Whatever you say, I won't change it anyway. It costs 5,000 star coins to change the image once. Do you know how hard it is to earn 5,000 star coins? Although the image of the Star Network world can be saved and will not disappear, after changing to a new image, she can switch back at any time, as long as she wants, but she is still reluctant to spend 5,000 star coins to change. There was no way. She would never forget the days of picking up scraps and the pain of having no food to eat. So even if she turned over and became a small wealthy woman, she was reluctant to spend those unnecessary star coins. Simply put, Wen is her last name and stingy is her fate. Mr. Jiu Wang, how about I pay for it for you? Before Ziqingyu finished speaking, they walked to the management office of the Starlight Night Market. Seeing this, he had to swallow his unfinished words. Hello, I'm looking for Miss Lin Qi. I have made an appointment in advance. Wen Jiu walked to the reception desk with shiny green hair and explained his purpose to the beautiful lady sitting there. This is the second update of today. Thank you all for your support again. 030. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.